Yo, it's Froggystyles and Mediocre Trader here. We're about to close out the market.
What's up, everybody?
For market hour here, or power hour. You want to open things up there, Mediocre Trader?
Sure. How's everybody doing today? I know it's been a not so good day for people. The market's red. We see it. We know it. Not a whole lot you're going to do with that right now, but we'll just hang in there and fight through it like we always do, and it is what it is. You know, just protect yourself, you know, just like Warren Buffett says. Be patient when others are fearful, you know. That's a important thing. Hey, Rob, how are you? So, AMC,
yeah, what's going on, guys?
AMC took a little bit of a hit today, but it's recovering nicely.
Yeah, so as you can see here, we suffered our second dip. Here's the first one. There's the second one. That puts in a nice solid bottom. But there's something else I want to kind of pay attention to, too. It's not even AMC. It's actually UVXY. Look at that thing just ripping. I'm not exactly sure what's causing it to go up exactly like that. But what I'm thinking is probably there's a lot of selling going on in the back end. We're not actually seeing it in the VIX. And there it is. You can see the selling is going on in the VIX. So they're basically pulling the market down with selling pressure across the board. Typically, that sends the dollar higher too. And it's up there too, but it's not like wild, not out of control, crazy. So it's making me wonder exactly what's going on here, because the dollar should have went up a lot higher if they're selling that much. So where'd the money go? Maybe they're transferring to something else and they're like selling stocks, buying into like bonds. Who knows exactly what they're doing, but somehow they're keeping the need for cash down. But you can clearly see they're exiting the market. So as that continues to climb, the crash will be coming pretty much right after. If it continues like that, you can see here the Fed pushed it down before, but right now it's spiking right back up. So it's just a matter of, you know, where's it headed? Now, these blue lines don't really honor anything over on the VIX. The VIX don't kind of work with indicators very well. It does its own thing. It's based upon what people do. This thing does, but
you can't hear it no more, can you?
No, I can still hear it.
Come on, I muted the mic. What the hell? Oh my God. Allie, stop. Go on now. Go. Sorry, dude. Hold on a minute.
So yeah, as you can see, the UVXY is ripping and the whole market's dipping. And that's just, I mean, you have 13%, which is a pretty big number. And as you can see, GME's taking the same hit in the opposite direction. We'll check like BBIG, same exact thing, taking a hit. ATER, taking a hit. Netflix, I mean, it was already hit, so it doesn't look like it was doing too much. I mean, down 3% for Netflix is doing pretty good compared to what it's been doing. So AMC down 2.7, which is still better than Netflix. HYMC only down 1%, which I think HYMC might be oversold at this point too. You can see it came down to this bottom line, which I only drew that just in case it actually, wait, I think there is one more. Yeah, there's one more line down here. So it did kind of honor this line here and hold and go across here at the 153. It's probably just a teeny bit lower. 152. So that might be the bottom. You can see as the volume goes and shrinks down, you go into a consolidation here, and you got a chance to start popping up next. But with the market getting weaker, I mean, you got to kind of keep an eye out and see what's actually going to happen. Is it done going down, or is the market going to pull it down? Only one way to find out, kind of the hard way. You got AMC. Actually, that's pre-market. Yeah, this is like a correction candle. I don't count that. Shouldn't count this because it's pre-market too, but I don't even know where the thing's gone. What's going on, Debbie? How's it going on, Bobby? Rob, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, Froggy?
What's going on, man?
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, not too hot of a day in the market, but I mean, I don't know. You could see the selling was going on based upon the VIX and the UVXY, so that doesn't really help very much.
What does SPY do today, Froggy? I didn't look at that either.
I should pull that one up here. Oh, man.
Oh, my God. Wow. Smash.
Got beaten pretty good. So SPY's down 6.8. That's pretty bad.
That's real bad.
Let me check Tesla, too. Yeah, Tesla took a hit, too. So it's across the market. There's a lot of selling going on. So that's pretty much leading things down. What's going on, JPEG? Said he came from Boss's channel. Welcome. G Money says accumulate that $16 AMC. Yeah, I agree. Right now is a very good time to be dip buying because, I mean, that's pretty much a W right there. And we're still in that long pain in the butt wedge that we have there. So, I mean, probably we got 22nd. So sometime tomorrow or Monday, you could probably wait until the end of tomorrow to buy in. If you're doing like any kind of option stuff, wait till the end of the wedge because you get the lowest IV, so you have the best like entry point because it looks like it's going to probably ping pong around, but you got to keep an eye out for it just in case it does decide to pop up. I'm not sure what that line's going to yet. Oh, previous resistance. So we don't need that no more. Didn't honor it. So now we're looking at your triangle. So if you do see it pop up to 1718 tomorrow, which it shouldn't, it probably won't get back to 1718 just because the, I should post this real quick here too. Let people know about Max Payne.
Yeah.
We're going to do a bunch of them. So let's.
Debbie, will you co-host Bobby so I can work the chat? So I can work the chat. And Debbie's asking when can she DM you? You can DM him anytime you feel like it, Debbie. You can DM him, he'll get it.
Yeah, anytime's good. Max Payne for AMC is actually $17.50 plus or minus 50 cents. So I would expect it to stay pretty close to that range going into tomorrow, unless a lot of money moves into the options. But I'd expect to finish pretty close to about $17.50 within a quarter of that instead of 50 cents, because they do kind of honor that pretty good. So, I mean, technically it is oversold. So, yeah, expect a break out of the wedge tomorrow at some point and make that push above 1720. So I guess this would be your dip buying opportunity. GME, let me see here. Depending if you count this 140 would be the bottom, maybe. Let me check the Max Payne. Now, the calculated max pain for GME is 145, but if you go and look at it like just with your own eyes, you can see it's 147.50, so it's obviously different. Plus or minus 2.5. So 147.50 plus or minus 250. And then we're going to add some other ones in there too. I probably should add Netflix in there, shouldn't I? Let's do DWAC as one of them.
That took a hit today. Jesus.
Yeah, got smacked. It's calculated at 48, but you can clearly see it's 47.50. So, I mean, I guess it is kind of close to where it's supposed to be for the max pain. It's just not honoring the number at all. Wow, look at all the puts. They're like running right up they're way in there. That's crazy.
That's why I'm wondering. I think it turns around and goes up tomorrow. It has to, I would think, but I don't know.
Let's do SPY as one of our next ones. Currently trading at 438.50. And the calculated is 445, and visually, oh, this one's going to be complicated, isn't it? It looks like 43.50 or 443.50. That's plus or minus $1.50. We'll do Netflix for fun, which that one I'd probably stay away from Netflix for another week.
I want you to pull up Facebook for earnings too.
Oh, is it today?
Next week.
No.
Earnings.
Netflix currently trading at 219.70. Calculated max pain on that one is 250. Wow, that's got to be a hurt piece. And max pain is 217.50. So it looks like it's going to go down a little bit more tomorrow. So is that plus or minus $1.50? 215 to 220. And that would put you plus or minus 250. And then you want Facebook?
Yeah. It came down today too.
Facebook's trading at 188 right now. Max pain calculated is 210, which is not going to happen. This one's probably going to trade about 195 plus or minus 5. So it may go up. The problem is it's kind of tough to tell because there's a middle point in it, like a little W, and it could be counting 195 to 200. 200 would be the highest it gets to tomorrow, and the lowest it would get to is 190. So I'm just going to put it at 195 plus or minus 5. And we'll do Tesla just because that one's kind of fun to watch. Tesla currently trading at 1,004. Max pain, they got it calculated at 985, which is crazy. So they're expecting it to go down. I'm seeing that is the ugliest option chain I've ever seen. Well, it ain't going under 1,000, I can tell you that. But it's not going over 1,050. So I'm going to pick it for 1,040 plus or minus 10.
Rob, I want you to put up Snap. It has earnings today.
What, for a max pain?
I don't know. It's probably got an after hours Snapchat.
Yeah, we'll check both. It's currently trading at 29.23. Max pain on that one's calculated. Whoa, what, 35? What happened to it? Did it get smashed? Yeah, it got hit real good. Real hard.
Wow.
Calculated max pain is 130.50. So it looks like it's going to go back up tomorrow. So I'll put that one in there too. Yeah, there's a big stack of puts sitting at 30, so they're going to probably pop it back up. It will probably close at probably 30 and a quarter, I bet. So I think we're going to have a bounce back tomorrow. Little one, not much, but just enough to get back to below 31 and above 30. So that puts it right in that little range.
You're welcome, Rob.
Now let me actually see the technical analysis on it, because we don't see a bottom on it, but you could see there's a double dip in there. I think you could count that as the first one, not the second one. I don't know if that's going to fit across there or not. Let's see. Yeah, it's ugly. It's very ugly. Take out them last two candles there. Take out these first two candles here, these here, and that's where it lines up. And there's still no bottom. So you don't even have a true bottom yet.
Rob says he's buying calls.
You'll make a little bit on it. I mean, like I said, it'd be short-lived. Even if you can get up to like 30, 50, and then that's pretty much it. If you bought calls on it when the IV's low, I mean, you should be all right. I think it's going to end up gold cross in 30 minutes. Here, give me a second. It should be getting close. Yeah, it's going to gold cross by morning. So you're going to get that breakout before morning. But there's earnings. Oh, boy. That'll be interesting. I would say since it's oversold like that, it doesn't matter what earnings is going to be. I think it's going to go up. Why would Snap not make earnings? Do you think Snap could miss earnings?
I don't know. I don't think so, because I think they've been leading in that as far as all. I mean, I'm speculating, but I heard that they were beating everybody else as far as all the other social media platforms when it comes to that.
I don't think they've done anything stupid like Netflix and started showing stuff that people didn't approve of.
Right.
So I would say that they'd probably be more of a neutral, and there's a good chance that they'll probably break even or miss by not enough to make a difference. So this sell-off that happened from 39 down to here, I think will count as unwarranted, and it will correct. That's just my guess, though. You can see right here we got a ramp, a negative ramp on in pressure. So you can see all the sell candles, they keep getting bigger, but that's probably just people panicking to get out. So with the market going down too, it compiles to make a negative 4.9%.
Yeah. I'm more interested.
Here's your band and everything. You look definitely oversold. So it's not a bad asset at this point to pick up for the discount.
I'm more interested in Facebook next week. I think that this one's going to, their platform is pretty solid. I don't use Snapchat, but I'm pretty sure that their platform is pretty solid. I've read some stuff on it, so they've been doing better than most, from what I understand.
Has Facebook done anything stupid to get hit?
Well, they're losing people is the problem.
On the Snap information. So when you're giving Robert about the Snap information, he says he's confused.
On which one? Oh, what's he confused on? I see he wrote down he's confused, but which part?
Oh, remember, he was asking about Snap.
Yeah, that's the one we were talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about Snapchat.
Snap. What you guys are saying? He's confused.
Oh, we're saying that we think that Snap is not in a bad position like other social media companies. It's in a better position that they're holding their people and, getting their ad revenue is what I was talking about, versus Facebook or somebody else. That's what I was saying. I hope
they're
that
not doing
clears up the confusion.
They're not doing like stupid stuff, kind of like what Netflix did, where they started showing like inappropriate movies and stuff and like angering some of their people. And Netflix ended up losing a lot of subs, and that's why their stock got pounded. And Snap seems like it's a very neutral platform so far. I mean, I could be wrong. So you can tell it's been selling off for 3 straight days. And usually that's what happens going into earnings. People get spooked. They jump out. They don't want to deal with the earnings. It's at the bottom of the band. It's oversold, and it looks like a good buying opportunity. So I'd expect it to spike up here towards the end of the close here, possibly even break above that wedge and get back up to, if you see it spike up to 29.80, I mean, it's going to start running. So yeah, 29.86.
I want to say hello to Tara Bulls to me, which is our partners. I see you in here, Sugar Kush. Rhonda, you always have something nice and sweet to say. I see you in here. Flip Nation, I see you in here. Blockbuster, I see you in here. I see everybody in here. Jason, I see Brandon, everybody. I see all you guys in here. I did get the DM, but people feel they like us too. When Froggy's doing the roll call or representing people in the chat, can you sometimes do it in the space call? So I'm doing it today, guys. Appreciate you guys. Sorry about that, Jared.
Yep, I'm going to keep a kind of a close eye on Snap because right now it's running up. It looks like it's going to do a nice little rally. It could make that run for that break. I'm not even sure if I got my line drawn right, just because it's very ugly looking pattern. So I mean, it kind of looks like it's already breaking out now, but it's tough to tell. It could be people. They drove it down, and now some of the people are coming in at the last minute to get their discount on IV. It's the best time to actually buy your options if you're going to play the earnings the last 10 minutes. Looks like they've been buying for the last hour, to be honest. There's your midpoint. It's already popped up over it, so you're about to get support there. Looks like you're waiting for that great big candle to pop. It's either going to be this one here or the next one. $29.86. Let's see if we can get a big boom candle on that. Confirmation breakout line right there. And then you'll have to deal with earnings in the after hours. I'm going to flip back over to AMC real quick, see what it's doing. Pull it up a little bit and fade it back. GME, same thing. SPY ain't doing much of anything except for just looking bad.
Check DWAC. See if it did anything.
UVXY is running up. DWAC just still, for some reason, getting pounded. Dollar's still up. That's a negative sign on the market. So, looks like the interesting mover right now is going to be that one.
Rob says Twitter's running too.
And we have our friend Gary Gensler back in the chat. Our friend Gary Gensler.
Yo, what's up, Gary?
Hey, Gary, you blind son of a gun, you.
He's in here looking around. I'm sure he won't find anything because he ain't looking.
You can't see nothing.
We could be doing blatant manipulation. He'd never see it. Poor Gary. Well,
Gary,
coffee money. If you give him enough coffee money, he'll do whatever you want.
Gary, you see the SPY today? Huh? You see the short pressure on DWAC, Gary? Do you see it?
Robert says, where were you Need to go to the dark pool. Yeah, he definitely needs to go check out the dark pool, see what's over there floating around. Probably a couple billion shares. Twitter's up 1%. Not anything too wild and crazy. What was the price that Elon offered for Twitter? Was it $54.20?
Yes.
Okay. Because I for some reason I thought it was like $52.42 or 420 cents or something weird like that. I couldn't remember what it was, but I know that there was a 420 in there because that's how Elon plays.
Gary Gensler says, "What's a dark pool?"
How much coffee money do you need to be able to see it?
Oh boy.
Well,
Jerry doesn't have the froggiest idea.
No,
see, even Bob's catching on. It's the new trend.
Even if the information was put right on his desk to get to it, he probably wouldn't hop to it.
Bobby, thanks for jumping on board with me with that. my head's in the lily pads. I ain't got the froggiest idea.
No, it looks like Snap's
pulling. I like that mediocre.
Snap's pulling back right now, but I think it's still going to be big going into the after hours. What time is the earnings call on that? It looks like it's late.
So I'm going to go look and see what Elon tweeted because somebody said he tweeted. So I got to go find out what he had to say. I'm interested now.
AMC's about to break even, which is kind of a good thing. It's doing a like last minute pop-up thing. So we finished down 1 penny. Or no, I guess it's the after hours. Never mind. Down 48 cents. So I don't think I sent that, did I? There we go. Maybe I should put the max pain out before the market closes. That would be nice. And we got GME down 4.6%. And it's got a sell check mark on it, which is going to be bad. So it was popping up, but it's probably going to pull back down. Trying to see if we got any other buy signals. No bottom, no buy signal.
So Elon says, if our Twitter bid succeeds, we will defeat the spam bots or die trying.
Hey, I like his enthusiasm. I mean, he's one of a few billionaires out there trying to make a difference on things.
Got the support of the people, I think, so he's good.
Oh, yeah. Who needs to advertise it to sell your cars whenever you just do things that are good for the people and they just like it anyways? I already feel like buying a Tesla.
I want a Tesla too. Not because I like electric cars, just because I like the man behind the company.
You see his profile picture? It kind of looks like Wall Street Bets dude with got the glasses on.
I didn't notice. I'm gonna go back and look now. Oh yeah. That's funny.
I'm gonna crop his face out and put it on the Wall Street Bets guy holding up the diamonds.
That's freaking hilarious. That's a good meme. I like it.
I'll make it happen. Let's see if we got any questions over here in chat. You go through here and see what we got. Corey Ryder says things are probably reacting to the war. I don't know. I don't see too much coming from the war reaction. I think the market itself is just there's weird things going on behind the scenes. Like a guy at work just came up and told me, he said, hey, you know that one convenience store, they just put in a crypto machine in there. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, that's just the oddest thing that they just put in. Like, crypto's been a thing for years. All of a sudden now these little crypto machines are popping up everywhere. And I'm like, just as of, what was it, a couple weeks ago, Joe Biden signed an executive order for crypto, for the USDC, whatever. And all of a sudden now we're starting to get crypto action. And I'm like, just kind of odd. Yeah. Timing is just kind of weird.
It's like it was planned ahead of time.
Well, there's a theory that the USBC or USDC will be backed 1-for-1 with dollars, but who says it has to be? I mean, it's pegged to it. Doesn't mean it has to be backed by dollars. They can go and put out 50 trillion of those and act like it's all backed by dollars, but who's going to go check it? It's kind of like Fort Knox. We believe the gold's still there. How do you know that the place that's supposedly buying USDCs, is anybody going to audit the vault to make sure that there's actually the right amount of money there? Probably not.
Exactly. I was just going to ask, when was the last time somebody seen, the gold in Fort Knox? Realistically, when was the last time somebody seen that? We ain't seen that in years, I'll tell you right now.
It's just one of them honor systems. They create this vault and they expect you to believe everything's backed by a certain amount. But I remember Ron Paul, when he was talking, if you ain't physically got it in your hand, it's probably not really there, or like the actual value is not there. And that's pretty much it. That's why silver was starting to be talked about as being an important thing, because it's tangible, it's real, and you can physically hold it and it has an honest value. What's going on, Jay Portuguese? How you doing, man? I wouldn't mind seeing silver do a comeback. That would be kind of interesting. Amy, I'm right with you there. Everything seems to be a lot better and cleaner and smoother without that mess over here. So you're right.
I don't disagree. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah. Hit that like button if you get a chance. It helps the algorithm, or whatever the algorithm says that they need likes for.
So Rob Burt got a question for Gary Gensler. He says, what squeezes are coming first? Do you got any answers for us, Gary?
Probably Gary's neck. You squeeze it. Yeah, Hummer.
Yes.
No. That'd be an interesting interview right there to have Gary Gensler on. You'd ask him a question like, how come you're not going after market manipulation? I need coffee. I can't see.
I'd be like, hey, pencil neck. I'm sorry. Yeah, dude.
It's such a shame that we have like an SEC, which is an organization that is supposed to be protecting investors, and the only ones that they're protecting are short sell investors. And it's a big bummer that the system doesn't work the way it was intended to, because it's been so one-sidedly corrupted.
Yeah, and he'll stand on his soapbox and tell everybody every single day that he's trying to protect the retail investor.
Well, you figure if he does anything stupid right now, it actually is going to hurt Goldman Sachs, because if you notice when the market went down, Goldman Sachs went up. Let's see what happened to him today.
Onsite, you're 100% welcome, my friend. Onsite says, thanks for keeping it honest, guys.
May we try. That's the intentions. Goldman Sachs actually went down today 2%, which isn't much, but they were kind of overpriced yesterday. There was no reason for them to be running up. Like, they're over leveraged and they got problems as it is. Like 136 times leverage. Like, that's worse than Lehman Brothers. So if there's a bad move the wrong way, Goldman Sachs is gone. So if Gary Gensler makes a mistake and does anything, he wipes out his former employer. So probably sure that everything he's doing is Goldman Sachs beneficial. Isn't that true, Gary? He's still in there.
Ravenstown says it's working exactly the way it was intended to. It's a big party, and you ain't invited. And I would have to say you are 100% correct in that statement.
Well, almost everything in America is built by the people for the people, except for the stock market. It's built by Wall Street for Wall Street. So, I mean, that just says it all right there. Built by Wall Street for Wall Street. They just let us play in it. It's like a casino. That's why that joke goes on, and we're in a casino. I mean, you're not really supposed to win. When you do, like in a casino, if you win too much, they kick you out. Well, this one, if you win too much, they just don't pay you. They don't want to kick you out, but they can't afford to pay you. So definitely dishonest stuff going on there. And there's Gary Gensler. Check him out. I wonder if that's Janet Yellen too. Because if you notice, we got politician people popping up. Obviously, they're fake, but it's still funny. Wonder if we can get Ken Griffin to make an appearance.
Kenny G.
Gary, you have to reach out to your buddy.
Yeah, reach out to your buddy. Tell him come on our show. We got some
coffee
questions.
supplier. Yeah, I'm not even sure what to think about the market. Like, I mean, we're definitely down. So it's all going to depend on how much more selling goes on tomorrow and how far they push the stocks down. Obviously, we're being tested mentally to see if we're going to hold on or panic. And I don't think anybody's going to go anywhere. We've held on this long. I don't think that even if the market crashes, I don't think people are going to sell. So I'm not sure if they're bluffing with it or what it is, but you can see the dollar is basically in stock market crash territory. The VIX is starting to run up now. You're getting like all these little indicators pointing that the market's doomed. And I don't know if it's meant to look that way, and they're just tricking us into believing that, it's bad, but the market hasn't even dipped the way that it should have. Like, there's still a lot more downside to it because it's way overbought.
Yeah, that's why I think all those, Fortune 500 companies that they were getting propped up, all like the social media stuff, all those big companies are starting to get clapped now because, they were getting held up by everybody. That's why I'm ready for next week, buddy.
Yeah.
Hope I'm right.
You can see right here on the weekly, it did its dip, but it actually failed to go and break out and go positive. Because remember, AJ was saying that we were expecting a new high if the weekly did go and go cross, and it got so close. You can see how close it got right here. It stopped right there, and it failed. So if you know what that is, like, it didn't even double touch. It's actually a failed top, and that just means that its next dip is going to be either worse. I mean, I expect to see SPY come back down to 417. Once it hits that point, there's a chance it could fail, go back down under 400. And then it will get interesting from there, because then you got just breakdown points all the way down until we find a bottom. We haven't had a ramp up in volume yet to prove that we're crashing, but right now we're doing the walk to the edge and see if we don't fall off. That weekly gold cross failing, that's really bad. Definitely bad.
And Ms. Harris, your mic is on, and what's happening to one's in that space call?
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, the one?
Yeah, I should have put that max pain out sooner so somebody could have got positioned before the end of the day. It's nice to know the information going into the morning. That was my fault. I didn't hit enter. Let me see if you got any more questions here.
Hey,
Okay.
Steve, you got a question in the space call?
Yeah, bring them up, let them speak.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Steve, what's going on, man?
What's up, buddy?
Same old. Just waiting, just holding and waiting.
That's all we can do is just wait and see what happens with the market. We're kind of at the mercy of the market right now. With it showing signs of weakness, I mean, we're just going to be in for a rough ride. I honestly think AMC is at bottom still. I mean, you can see it keeps playing with that, like, that range that it's sitting at right now. And let me see where it's at here.
Yeah, I think so too, Froggy, because right now we're at the 161 Fibonacci level.
Yeah, anything under 17 is where there's a lot of support. We're actually underneath that point a little bit, but I think we're oversold on the day because the market had a lot of downward pressure built into it. But I still see it popping up over 17 for tomorrow.
All right, all good. I follow you. All over.
Here, check
Yeah,
this out. Oh, let me share this real quick, if you don't mind. You see AMC or you see HYMC? Which one you see?
I can't tell. Hold on. Let me zoom in on it.
That's on HYMC. I'll just change that chart. I'll just switch it. I got it. See? This is that fib level I was talking about.
Bouncing right off, but I think it's a money line too, if I remember looking at it.
Yeah. So I just wanted to point that out. So it broke below it and came right back up above it. So I'm pretty confident in that level, to be honest with you. But I just wanted to show everybody so they can see what I'm looking at.
It's actually below the banker line, which is one of the banker lines. We're hitting the second bank line right now. It broke through the first one, but there's a chance it can go back up there tomorrow, which is 1692.
Yeah, I imagine we're going to stay between that fib line for a little bit. I'm not sure how long, but we'll see. I know it could go lower, but I'm not expecting that. I mean, look at how bad the SPY dropped today, and it didn't, you know what I mean, collapse totally.
Ms. Harris said Twitter's having issues. I'm thinking of stock. It might actually be Twitter, like the space call. Not the Tin Man says, are old silver coins worth more than face value? Oh yeah, I think it's at least 10 to 1.
You know what? I'll probably show some. I'll put some aside for tomorrow because I have some put away, and I'll show you guys what I do. But just it's really easy. I buy the silver John F. Kennedy $50. I think they're like 1964. There's certain years, but you can actually Google it and it'll tell you. But that's what I do.
Yeah, anything before 64 is most likely silver. Now you got to watch out. There is that silver dollar that a lot of people think are silver just because of the dollar, and it's not. It has to be an S print. There might be another variation too, but I went and got a bunch of silver dollars and realized that none of them were silver. And then you have to get a specific one in order to get the actual silver.
But yeah, silver's value is up higher than what the coin is actually worth. That is true.
Oh, there's Gary Gensler. Biden gave me this crummy job. What do you want from me?
Oh boy, Gary.
He sounds so enthused, man. No wonder so much is getting done over there at the SEC.
I'm not really gonna defend Gary. I'm not really gonna defend him, but maybe part of the problem is his leader doesn't give him the very good direction on which way he wants the country to go or the stock market to go.
Well, he gets all them positive comments over on his Twitter. I don't think there's one nice comment that goes towards Gary Gensler. That poor guy. No wonder he's not trying. What about them two rolls that we were hearing about? What is it? 010 and 801 or 301 or whatever it was. Did you hear anything about those?
I did not. I didn't do any research on them either, but let me write that down because I want to do that actually because I want to know what they are. But I'll forget if I don't write it down.
Gary Gensler says Biden's a fake president. Oh, don't talk about your boss like that. Gary's trying to get fired. He's
so
like,
Rob says
out.
DWAC's popping.
Is it? I hope so.
The low of the day so far was 37.68, so it did pop up a little bit, but we'll see what they do in the after hours.
Not much.
Yeah,
I mean, it's way down from where it should be. Down 17%, which isn't very nice.
Jen's running a little behind. She's doing something. She just said to let you know that she's running just a little bit behind Jen.
Oh, that's fine. We always got space for her. It's nice when she comes in. Always a positive vibe, which is nice.
Any news today that came in? Anything of importance? I didn't really. Let me go look real quick.
Janet Yellen. Gary Gensler says if you want this squeeze to happen, you better have Janet Yellen and I and the rest of our clan arrested. I guess he's volunteering. Yeah, that's an interesting group they got put together there. The plunge protection team. I have to get Boss Blunts back over here to talk about Janet Yellen.
Yeah, it's this girl, isn't it?
Oh, he keeps an eye on everything that she does. Let me see. Check it for some more questions or comments here. Give me a second.
All right, so the Fed's daily says we will likely be raising the rates by 50 basis points at a couple of Fed meetings.
That's in what, 2 weeks? I think I have that one wrote down on the calendar. It was already expected for 50, so I figured the market's already factored it in. They actually need to raise a lot more than that, a lot quicker, and they're not taking very much action. That's why inflation is still pretty much runaway. And until they do something, everything's going to be, it's just going to get worse.
Yeah. I'm just kind of flipping through here and see.
Ant Card says, any thoughts on the NSCC 2022-003 and the 008? This has potential to cancel the squeeze, question mark. I don't really think anything could cancel the squeeze, to be honest. I think all they can do is delay it. Because just like Phil Ferrell always says, if the shorts haven't covered, then what are we talking about? Because they can't get out. They have to buy their way out. So it's like shooting fish in a barrel. You know that they can't get out either. So that's the thing. They're trapped, and like we keep putting pressure on them so they can't leave. Like the market maker has the ability to trick the market so they can get get shares at discount, they're not accumulating enough shares quick enough to be able to dig their way out. So that's why they're definitely trapped. I understand how the Wyckoff thing works for their trading algo, and all it is just a modified version of the Wyckoff. And every time we drop in price, they try to trick people into leaving so they can get those shares. But they're fighting us. So if they drop the stock price with like 10 million shares, well, they got to fight with retail to get those 10 million shares back. Because when you sell them, you have to still go buy them back in order to break even. And when they sell out 10 million, they probably only get like 6 million back because retail's buying the rest of them. And that's their problem, is they keep digging deeper, but they're not getting they're not getting all their shares back to be able to come out on top. So they're wasting their time and their money, but they don't know anything else. They don't know what else to do. Buy and hold's been beating them. So that's why they're playing that bait and switch with the rules kind of stuff to try to see if they can delay this. And it's not going to work. I think that's why Joe Biden's trying to push in that crypto dollar, because I think they're going to probably use that as some form of a payout. But that's just a guess of mine. I don't want to say for sure, because who knows? They just might be testing it, and that's it. Gary Ginsler says, okay, guys, there's work I got to go do, so I better get back to it. Wait, you actually work, Gary? Didn't know that. He's been in there for over a year now. I haven't heard him getting anything done.
He ain't got nothing done.
Try to find that stolen buy button from back in January.
Yeah, right.
He's keeping good inventory in the break room with the coffee and all, you know.
Got that cup out there. It says Citadel's name right on it.
He's keeping track of how many cups of coffee you got and sugar. His job.
He doesn't want to call it speaking fees. He wants to call it coffee money. Trying to be slick. Janet Yellen already got that speaking fee money from Citadel. Wasn't that speaking fee money? That's crazy. Oh, yeah. Powell opens his mouth and then the markets sell off. When did they speak? I'm pretty sure Powell's not going to say anything nice for the market. He hasn't been putting any more money back in it either, last I knew. So, yeah, it looks like they're going to let it drift down lower. Let me pull up Snap and see where it's at right now. And it's pushing. Well, kind of as expected, it popped up and started running. So that would have been a good buy if you would have bought those options. Now, I don't understand the sell-off before then. It was probably something to scare people out, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
But, I mean, as long as they didn't do something stupid like, take off their customer base, I mean, they're probably going to break even or not do anything bad on earnings, and it's going to result in an uptrend. And that's what you're seeing, up 8.7%. So that was right on point. So who was that, Rob? Did you end up getting Snap? It didn't quite make it back up to that breakout point before the market closed, but as soon as the market closed, boy, it popped right up and it went kind of crazy for a minute. And you can see right here, look at the cash flow. Cash came in, but the stock price dipped. That don't make sense. That's somebody playing with the stock price. The cash came in, more came in, and it stayed in there. So that's what you're seeing. Until that money comes back out, that stock price will stay up there. It is technically overpriced, but I wouldn't worry about it. If you open up in the morning and you're still sitting at 32.37, I would set a stop loss and kind of take that profit for it, because it's going to come back down and stabilize somewhere down here about 30. Let me pull up the max pain real quick, because that will make a big difference too. Yeah, if it closes tomorrow above 31, you'll have a gamma ramp on Monday, Tuesday. So keep an eye on that too. You definitely want to close above 31. 32.50 is your next target. There'll probably be a massive sell wall right there. Yeah, 32.50. That's your sell wall. So it's actually going to honor that probably. That's 2 stacks of options that could come into money. That'd create a guaranteed gamma ramp for Monday, Tuesday, so you can make some money. Most likely the market maker will pull it back down and get it back within, let me see what I figured. Snap 30, 50 plus or minus 50. So it'd be 30 to 31. So they'll probably pull it back down there. That's what they're good at. They're already getting it back down there now. Don't need that line. That one there's done. We'll put the max pain lines on there real quick. I should set those a different color.
I do see your partner, Spencer in here. If the one didn't say anything, that means that he's busy. But he will always speak. Okay. I was right here the other day. He will always speak when he's not busy. But Spencer's in here right now.
What's going on, Spence? How you doing, man?
What's up, Spence?
Spence is the other frog from across the pond. Oh, no, nobody gave him the mic. There you go. This floor is yours, Spence, if you want it. Oh, I think he disconnected. Nope, he's back. Twitter's a goofy thing. Oh, it did boot him. Let me fix that. Yeah, it would be nice if Twitter fixed those little glitches.
Maybe if Elon
going on today, man.
Maybe if Elon gets in there and takes over the company, we'll be good to go with Twitter Spaces.
Yeah. I'll be happy if they root out all the bots. Did you guys see Elon's post about we'll get rid of the bots or die trying?
Yeah.
If I was him, I'd get rid of that board first. I'd probably save that company a lot of money.
Well, you guys watch. Ad revenue will drop significantly once they start ridding social media platforms of all these bots.
Yeah, that would be wild. I was wondering, like, how much ad revenue they actually get.
It's Facebook. I think one of the majority of their funding sources was ad revenue, but they talked about how much of a hit they took last year with ad revenue decreasing. But if you think about it, there's millions and millions of bots that always pop up during election times or that push like weird agendas that really shouldn't trend that end up trending. So all the metrics that the companies submit for their ad revenue stream, you could probably take 10, 20% away from that. So companies like Coke or Dawn Dish Soap or whoever that's paying Twitter through ad revenue is probably getting ripped off right now.
Yeah, I seen that Element OP was actually trending for a minute there, and I thought that was kind of laughable that it was even trending at all. But I see what their bots do. They pick up on the trends and they do stuff with it. I don't really understand. Like, is there really that many bot accounts out there?
Oh yeah, I've done so many conversations about this with people. I will get the last presidential election. I had so many fake accounts come into my feed like I never saw in my entire life. If you really think about it, social media metrics are a very, very important part of how the financial system and the political system, including MSM, predict outcomes and or report on. So for another country like, say, China, to create millions of bots, flood social media, they can be extremely disruptive. And nobody's going to say anything because they're getting paid ridiculous money through ad revenue.
I agree 100%. I think that they're definitely.
You never seen those bot farms?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's crazy. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump on you, Froggy.
Now, what's your thoughts about HYMC? Because I got a lot of questions coming in on it, and I was going to give you my take on it because right now there's a bunch of call options sitting right at $1.50, and knowing how Max Payne works, they'll probably close it at 149 just to blow those out.
I think you're right on that. I also think today you saw them closing out some FTDs that were probably T plus 35. But this is the revolving door FTD glitch that they're doing. They can let failures sit for 30 days after they price fix on heavy options call days like last Thursday, right?
Yep.
Or April 14th. So they took all the bullish momentum out of the market by those calls landing out of the money. Now they can come in, short the stock harder from the buying pressure being taken away by those calls landing on the money. Them coming in and shorting the stock, they can now get it down 10 to 20% under what their FTDs failed at. So they come in, cover the FTDs, immediately short as soon as they cover again, and now they've reset the clock on their FTDs, and I think that's what we saw today. All those green candles we had were immediately killed on the next tick.
Yeah, I honestly think they don't even cover hardly any FTDs. I think it's just them turning the buy orders back on because they can shut those off for up to 2 days.
Well, it's all completely rigged against us, I'll tell you that right now. But my hopes are there's actually some DD on Reddit that some folks are talking about how Sprott and Mudrick Hybridge will actually try to enforce some type of share recall, which is definitely doable at this point in time. I think they have the right and they have the shares available to be able to do that through a couple different means. But what I wanted to ask everybody today, I have a question for everyone, is do market makers and brokers make payment for order flow money through the options chain, no matter if you win or lose?
I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah, I think it depends on if you're paying per trade or not. Like TD Ameritrade, I pay for trades, options trades.
I was gonna say Fidelity's the same way. They charge you. I can't remember what it is, but you get charged, and a lot of the free brokers aren't even free. They just bake it into the price, and they show you a certain number on the screen that's not what the other market sees, so it's baked in. So
I hate to say that Charles Gasparino has been right the whole time. He's been warning us that Ken Griffin is making millions off of you guys, and it's from people consistently placing orders every week after week on options, on call options, on selling puts, on covered calls. Unfortunately, if you're buying stock, there's no true way to probably get around that, as you guys have seen the drama with Fidelity this week.
Yeah.
I don't think any broker's on our side. But another addition to No Options May, which is picking up some steam across platforms, is that if you're not buying options, you're not funding payment for order flow. I think the most important thing for the retail community is to stop giving Citadel and these brokers our money. Just buy raw shares and hold and see what happens. I really think the theory is evolving. It's spreading across platforms. I've seen it on Reddit. I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen some in Facebook groups. And I think we're going to see an impact, especially with Melvin talking about, we're going to close out and unwind and reset. to me, that was a fluff piece paid for by Ken Griffin so he didn't embarrass himself. But what you're going to see is a rush to the door to try to pull their money out of these big hedge funds. So Citadel's probably getting ready to set up some gates to stop people from pulling their money. But if we keep giving them money to play the game, we're shooting ourselves in the foot.
Well, what they did when they claimed they were closing those out, they said, look, we're taking all the shorts out of the left hand. And then they slid them over to the right hand and said, see, no more shorts left in the left hand. And that's all they did, was they just moved what they were. They either relabeled them, put them somewhere else. And that's what they do, is they move stuff around.
Absolutely. I really, really, really think the no options May idea is going to, if people contributed to this thesis, would have a major impact on stock price because, like we said, there's a case study with DWAC. We saw Thursday when the HYMC options, the calls got blown out, we immediately started nosediving in price. I hope people see it, and I hope they really think about it in, coming out and saying, well, what happens if we do it? Well, what happens if we don't? We just keep doing the same thing over and over again. So we'll see, man.
Well, there is a phase 2 to the no options, May. If you did want to play options, deep in the money is the safest, best way to go because that gives the least amount of premium to the market maker. And when you're deep in the money, you still get to keep most of your premium. So
right. I agree with that totally, too. I think that's why it was a good idea when you said that we should try to consolidate it to a time frame. So,
yeah, I think it's a good idea because, like, if they take our money, if you knew what the max pain was, you just wouldn't even honor those calls or puts, and then you can take that money. Because when I sell a call, I can take that money and buy anything I want with it. I can go to Tesla. I can go to HW or HYMC. I can go buy, whatever I want with that money. And that's what they're doing is they're taking your premium and they're like, oh, we're going to go buy some shorts right here, or we're going to put deep in the money puts right here. And then they can go and delta hedge those and use it against you to pull it back down. And it's crazy.
I'm telling you, man, with the revolving door FTDs, payment for order flow, everything that's been going on for over 6-7 months, I hate to say it's a product of our own design of people on YouTube regurgitating bad theories, regurgitating old plays. Well, it worked once before, so it's going to work again. These market makers and hedge funds are multi-billionaires with billion-dollar algorithms. They know what we're doing. They saw what we've already done, and they've changed up their play. And they're I'm not going to say they're beating us because their long positions are taking a nosedive, and their shorts aren't really going down anymore. So their time is limited. But I would tell you right now, if retail, which has been quoted by MSM as being over $1 trillion industry, just retail, if we stop giving these clowns our money, we would be winning a lot better than we are now. And I'm talking no options, that gets rid of a lot of payment for order flow, not using products from companies that Citadel holds long, like Netflix and Amazon. I mean, just every little tiny thing. We've got to stop giving them our money.
Oh, I agree 100%. Like buying deep out the money options. Yeah, I get it. People want to make that money, but the stock isn't moving up in that direction. You're just giving away money. And until we get moving in that direction and get momentum, deep out the money is actually hurting everybody because you get no delta hedging advantage. And it's more of a greed play than anything. And greed gets you killed in this market. And that's why originally the plan was buy raw shares, hold, and that's it. Buy on the dip. It didn't say and buy options. And people chose to do options because they heard people making a lot of money on the options. So now they're thinking, well, I'll just buy options. I'm still buying the stock. It's not the same thing. You don't get.
And let me clarify that. I don't have a problem with options, but if you're buying them on AMC, GME, and Highcroft and other squeeze plays, you're funding. You're generating constant liquidity to market makers just to reinforce their position and play the game. So I think it's super important for people to take a step back, understand the grift that's going around. Another thing, and I know, and I'm not attacking YouTubers or any paid for channels or anything, but if we're really worried about squeezing a stock out and your favorite YouTuber is talking about squeezing a stock out, then a $5 super chat instead of buying a share probably isn't the best idea. That's another thing that's been bothering me for a minute. I think if we don't go at this now as a community of retail investors and get back to the base message, which is buy HODL, be ape, push stock up, it's just going to keep continuing on and on forever. Unless the GameStop catalyst happens and blows everybody out of the water. But I think the retail community, the Ape Nation, should refocus and consolidate their money into the proper place and stop giving it to Citadel nonstop.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I keep thinking, like, maybe buying long, deep into money calls for the people that really want to play options, just so you can sit on, like, a 6-month option that's deep into money. Your theta burn is so small that you won't even notice it, and then it provides delta hedging value. So the market maker has to go buy a percentage of your contract, and it provides benefit to the movement. Now, out the
I agree. I agree with that.
They don't have to buy any of your. They don't have to delta hedge at all. I mean, because you're technically not in the money, and they don't have to honor you at all. So it's just like you giving them your money, saying, "Will you please go buy me shares?" And you're like, "Ha, you're not money yet."
Yeah, totally agree with it, and I'm glad that that's why we picked the no options May instead of no options forever. If theoretically the community came out and say a majority decided not to buy options in May and the other minority decided to buy deep in the money calls, I'm pretty sure this thing would get blown out of the water really quick. No. I really see that happening.
One thing I do worry about is the fact that they do use the leverage and options to go and place puts and stuff like that to try to offset the call pressure. But the thing is what's more efficient than option? It's raw shares. And if you go with the most efficient approach, raw shares will win out in the long run. Because look what happened to Tesla. That was raw shares. And the contracts were too expensive. And I think that's the reason why Elon left the price up there, because it's harder to manipulate the stock price whenever the options are stupid priced. And I think he did that to keep people out of the options.
Well, and either way, buying raw shares, you might be paying a one-time payment for order flow fee, or maybe a 2 or 3 time over a period of 6 months. But if you're buying weekly calls, you're literally funding Citadel nonstop to play against your own position, which they have all the power. And like I said, you have one card at the blackjack table and you're playing against the dealer and you think you're going to win. So, how many times have we landed max pain in the past 6 months consecutively where we should have won and we didn't? Because it's just nonstop.
Yeah. They control the price, and they don't have, like, if they're chasing pain, we should be betting against pain or with pain and go with the flow. So, like, here's one, for instance, right now, DWAC. Right now it's trading at 39 in the after hours, but the max pain is sitting, like where the money's sitting is up. And let me see where we're calculated here. Max pain should be above 45. And right now it's trading at 37.96. Now, I don't want to say for sure we're going to jump over 45 tomorrow, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if we went from 37.96 to 45.01 tomorrow just to go and blow out all the puts. So, and that's what I'm starting to look at. I'm like, that's where the market maker would put it. And if we see an incredible movement tomorrow, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised at all to see, like, what is that, 7-point move tomorrow, back up. And this kind of stuff should not be predictable. If the market wasn't rigged, there's no way DWAC should move 7 points up tomorrow. And if it does, then all we can say is, hey, look, you should be looking at this max pain. It's more accurate than technical analysis.
Yeah.
You know, I hate to say too, I know everybody's got their own personal preference, but the retail ape pool has been heavily diluted across multiple other stocks and crypto.
Yeah.
And since that started happening, we saw a price drop from high 40s down to $12.95. People have ran off and got deep into other plays instead of pushing the original message, which is the squeeze play on GME and AMC. Hycroft's a bit of a different situation because it's on AMC's book. So if they pop, AMC pops with it. That's an asset increase.
Oh,
But this, you know, I've seen, if you're in BBIG, good for you. I'm not going after you. I've seen so many people getting crushed on BBIG, on PROG, on what's the other one? Ader. A bunch of people got ate up on Ader. Some made money, yeah, but we've diluted the movement across the board so much that I'm not surprised we're sitting at $17.80 a share on AMC. It's just common sense.
Now, you were just talking about HYMC and talking about a share count, and I sat there and thought for a second, like, what's the debt on HYMC?
What's the debt?
Yeah.
I think it's $30 million under the cash they have on hand, 30 or 40. I thought last time I checked it was like $136.5 million. I might be wrong. I got to double check that number.
Well,
but I know it's much lower than the cash they have on hand.
Okay, now think about that for a second. If they wanted to offer a dividend and there was actually too many shares out there, how easy would it be for them to pay off their debt and offer a dividend?
Yeah, there's multiple things they can do right now. Technically, with AMC, Sprott, Mudrick, and Highbridge owning 66% of the shares. And if you noticed in that document, as of the reporting date, they said shares outstanding were 100, which I just finally got my document today.
Why ain't they doing it, though?
What's up?
Why aren't they going forward with a dividend?
No, I'm just suggesting it as an idea of they could actually pay off all the debt and have that company good enough to where it can go have a dividend. And so that could be one of the things that Adam Aaron's looking at. Maybe he wasn't able to get a dividend on AMC. So then he bought into a company that he can go in, take control over, offer a dividend that has the same short thesis to it, offer the dividend and squeeze it. And it's all legal what he would be doing.
Yeah, Hycroft did announce in their proposals that they do plan on using some of the money from the at-the-market offering to pay down debt. They announced that word by word. You can find it on their investor relations. So here's the thing. If Hycroft issues a dividend to AMC for their 46 million shares, right, AMC takes that. AMC now has dividends owned by a company owned by other shareholders. So he would have to kick something out in turn to AMC shareholders, which could be anything like an NFT, and say, we're going to issue this as a non-cash dividend to you because we got this money from the investment that's outside of our normal revenue stream. That may be something that was written into the covenants, is that AMC couldn't issue a dividend out of their own funding until their revenue stream was positive. So if they're getting funding from another company, say Hycroft, in the form of a dividend, then they might have the right to do that. So it's another potential for sure.
Because what I'm thinking is that their lenders that lent them all that money probably don't want them to succeed. You would think they would want them to succeed, but if anything happened to AMC, obviously they get to come in and scoop up assets. And I know Adam Aaron was working on trying to get that debt covenant loosened up so they could offer a dividend, but we haven't heard back on any of it. So instead he picked up HYMC, which is basically in the same boat as AMC, and the debt isn't bad at all. It'd be real easy for them to go and erase it and do everything that they should be doing with AMC, with HYMC. I think it would be interesting on what they're going to do.
Well, with GameStop announcing their stock split dividend issuance, I'm sure Adam Aaron and Hycroft definitely have something in mind. But I also have a theory after Gasparino's post talking about AMC doing 5 more acquisitions for $500 million, sources, AMC May Insider, blah, blah, blah. I think Adam Aaron got really quiet after Gasparino posted that. I think he got quiet because he realized there's still people on the board or executives he has that's leaking information on AMC plays outside of the company, which goes directly to the market makers and the hedge funds who bet against that. So I think AA's been pretty quiet lately because of that issue. I think they have a big plan coming up. I think his lawyers told him just to stay calm. You know, he had his big run, his big very, very aggressive run on Twitter there for a minute and then just kind of dropped off for a while. I think there is a big play coming. There's a big catalyst coming up, and it'll be between AMC and HYMC for sure.
We got a fake Gary Gensler in here, but it's hilarious because he pretends to be the evil guy here. Says, if you want AMC to squeeze, then people need to stop doing options. Ken Griffin told me himself, and he loves when people do options. I mean, I know it's funny, but it's like on point. It's like, you know.
There was an HYMC group on Reddit. There was a brand new account with -4 karma. Came right in there and started spitting that everybody should buy call options because the algos have been turned off and the hedge funds aren't attacking us anymore. Something is getting triggered by this no options May thing. There's stuff happening. And people have been posting some images of the options chain looking a little funky on AMC lately.
Well, I had like 500 likes or something on that meme that I put out. So, because it got relinked and stuff all over the place, and it like kind of multiplied. It might be way over 500, but I didn't add them up. There was a lot though.
That's good. It needs to trend. I'm telling you, if we don't change up, if retail does not change their attitude, if apes don't go back to being hardcore solid apes, buy and hold, stop giving Citadel your money through the options chain, payment for order flow, stop using Coke products, stop using Netflix products, and go out and start buying AMC and GME products, we're going to be sitting in the same shit that excuse my language, we're going to be sitting in the same hole that we've been sitting in for 6 months. So it's up to everybody what you want to do, you know?
When's that popcorn supposed to be coming out?
I'm theorizing it's either going to get announced during the Q2 or Q3 earnings call. I really think they're trying to set things up with another popcorn company, which I believe will be one of their acquisitions.
Because like my daughter loves popcorn, and I'd be getting rid of Orville Redenbacher on purpose. So hopefully he gets it out here soon. We're almost done with our box.
AMC will take over a very large market share of the retail popcorn market. Like I said, if they decide to put promos in for tickets, gift cards, and NFTs and such, you're going to see the AMC popcorn shelf empty nonstop.
Well, that's just it. You figure how many people are actually bought into the stock. They're not going to go buy Orville Redenbacher when AMC, the stock that they're in, is there. And they know that purchasing that popcorn, I think, is what, an 80% profit revenue on it? It's nuts high.
Yeah. Right now it's probably a little lower because the price of corn's gone up.
Yeah.
But that's a good opportunity for AMC to come in and acquire a embattled popcorn company that's not doing as good. You know, say like Jiffy Pop or whatever is not a big name brand anymore, but they have the assets to get popcorn on the shelves. I'm not saying they're going to buy Jiffy Pop, but if it was my guess, Ellen Kopakin has been working with a popcorn company that's currently been seated on the shelves that they will acquire. Then they already have the logistics, the shelf space. They say, if you get your popcorn in all these grocery stores by this date, we'll buy you out for this much. That way they don't have to do any real hard legwork when they do buy.
Now, I know when they've come out with the popcorn, I don't typically eat popcorn, but I probably would just for the fact of, you know, helping support it. So I'd probably be buying a couple boxes just to, you know, contribute that way. Because you figure they can't sell you synthetic popcorn. So that revenue is raw. You could buy a stock and they can give you a synthetic and it doesn't contribute to the stock price. But them numbers, they can't make synthetics. So,
well, that's say at bare minimum, say they bring in $200 million a year, right? That's like you said, at an 80% profit margin, that's 180 million that we didn't have before in revenue. So now you have a stock that used to sit at $30 just as a base theater company in 2019 with another $100 to $200 million revenue stream and the potential for advertisement revenue because of name brand for promos on Marvel movies and such. So now you have a company who should be fit in a market cap much higher than it currently is. $30 a share should not be even an issue for AMC right now. I think what you'll see too is I don't own GameStop, but I support them. So I go to GameStops now to buy my equipment and games. I think you'll see some of that too. I don't think every GameStop player hates the AMC community. I think we have a multitude of bisexual people.
Well, I was going to say, I buy all my games from GameStop. I don't like Walmart, so I go to GameStop for everything. And that was before this whole movement. So that was just coincidental. I've been buying all my games from there since like Ultima Online came out, which is back in like late 90s. That's when I started playing it. And I bought a bunch of other games, like all the expansions. Like you can always buy the digital copy online, but I'd rather have the physical. So I always went in to have it so I can have it. Even though I've never used it again after I got it, I always still went and bought the physical. So when DFE was saying discs, he was exactly right. People still want the physical. They don't want that digital copy because there's no guarantee that you have it. But the physical, you can always wipe out your hard drive and put it right back on without having any problems.
Well, you can't resell your digital copy.
True.
That's something that I've hated for so long is that we're not allowed to resell digital copies. I think it's really important for people to go into GameStop, buy the raw physical product. That way you own it and can get money back out of it later if you wish. But if you're buying digital, I won't step foot in Walmart. I can't stand Walmart. But I'm glad I'm already doing that because that's one of Citadel's major holdings. But if you're buying raw physical items from GameStop and you're buying raw products from AMC, you're directly contributing.
Well, the thing that got me about Walmart was back when we used to buy CDs. You couldn't buy anything that wasn't censored. And I'm not saying that that's what I look for is swear words and songs, but if it's got a swear word in it, I want to hear it because it's part of the song. And so I'm sitting there and you get like a bleep out or some other like little weird edit or they'll add a word into it. And I'm like, that just sounds horrible. Like it takes the fun out of the song. And so I quit buying any CDs from over there just because that they used to all be like that. I don't know if it is like that now. But then I started realizing Walmart's got a lot of other shady stuff that they do. Like there was a pillow manufacturer, American made, and they went to the pillow manufacturer and was buying the pillows, we'll just say for $5. And they put this massive order on the pillow manufacturer, and the pillow manufacturer ended up cutting out all their other customers just to handle Walmart's orders. Once you kick your customers to the curb and you rely on one, they got you. So then Walmart dropped that price down from like 5 to 2, and they said, well, we can't afford to do it at that cost. It's like the bare bottom price, and Walmart's like, well, if you can't do it, we're going to take the orders elsewhere and basically kill them off. And that's what happened. They couldn't get their customers back in time, and they imploded. And I was like, that's pretty dirty. And Walmart was getting all this credit for being like good business and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, they're actually destroying companies with their tactics.
Yep. The George brand shirts that I really like, just plain multicolored shirts that are nice and soft. Walmart actually went in and bought that entire brand out only to sell in Walmarts. But I can't stand stepping foot in a Walmart when they forced businesses like AMC closed during the pandemic, but said you can fit 3,000 people a day in a Walmart with no problems. That's not protecting the community. That's enforcing a double standard on companies you want to do good and companies you don't want to do good.
Yeah, I do 3D printing, and Walmart went in and basically loaded up my 3D printing supplier with like all these excessive orders, and where I couldn't even buy from them because Walmart was like the number one order. Well, something happened in that process to where Walmart was supposed to be stocking the shelves. They were getting their plastic for like probably $8 to $9 for a spool. They were going to sell it in their store for 15 to 16 bucks. Something happened where that deal got broken. My supplier went back to normal people instead of Walmart, and I was kind of surprised. Never figured out what happened, but that's the best thing they could have done. If you deal with the public directly, you'll always have customers for life. And if you go through Walmart, eventually they'll strangulate you and squeeze you out. That's what they've been known to do.
Well, that's what they're experiencing with Netflix. Content that's going straight to Netflix and HBO Max. Actors are realizing now, I'm losing millions and millions of dollars because people aren't seeing this in theater. I'm not getting my cut from the production studios, and people are refusing to buy the content after it's already been put out on streaming. So people aren't going out and buying, say, Blu-rays and stuff anymore. It's a big deal. Actors are now realizing that they are taking a massive loss by streaming companies airing movies before the theatrical release is final.
Now, what do you think about that Melvin Capital thing? Because I just seen Lou popping up talking about Melvin Capital is just the beginning. I know they were hurting to begin with, so I'm not the least bit surprised they're up against the ropes now. And
all you have to do is look at how much they've lost in the past 3 months, and the fact that Citadel gave them $2 billion as a friend favor was nothing more than to buy their short position out. Melvin is, in my opinion, completely busted. I think they're saying they're going to unwind and rename because they are having a massive withdrawal of liquidity from their customers. And I think Citadel is coaching them through this, and that's why the Fluff Piece article got written, because Ken Griffin is also taking massive losses. The dude has been doing nothing but flexing for the past year as his long positions have taken a nosedive, and their short positions are not going down any further.
No, I agree with you 100%. Like, I know Ken Griffin's getting hurt, but, like, do they have to report that honestly? You would think they would, but, boy, they've been so dishonest about everything. Like, I don't even know what to believe anymore when I see numbers from, like, Fintel.
Tiger Cubs was mismarking their privates. I mean, they can do whatever they want, man. The truth is 2008 happened because everybody was cooking the books.
Oh, yeah.
The rating agency was cooking the books, and then everybody holding those CDOs was making synthetic CDOs and further past that. They're doing it again with all these short positions. They just keep getting handed off one to another, FTDs circulating. The only thing that's keeping them afloat, in my opinion, is payment for order flow. The options chain is paying to keep Citadel afloat.
Well, they got that algorithm that is doing basically the Wyckoff. And, like, as long as people ain't buying and holding, Wyckoff works amazing. But when you got people trying to day trade and stuff, that Wyckoff will eat them people up. And that I think that's what the problem is. We got so many people buying and holding across the market on, like, a certain group of stocks that we've really broke the algorithm. Because, and I was explaining this earlier, we'll say on AMC they use 10 million shares to drive it down. Well, they got to still go buy back those 10 million, but they're fighting the buying with the dip buying apes, and that's where they only get back like 6 million, and they don't get back all the stock that they need to get, so they're creating a deficit.
Well, that's why their long positions have been going down like crazy, because the only way these longs should go down is if people are liquidating. That's why Netflix, we talked the other day, Netflix took that 25%. I came in and I said, looks like a liquidation. And then sure enough, an article came out about it later. But I'll leave everybody with this on the seriousness of payment for order flow and the options chain. This was February 2nd, 2022. U.S. stockbrokers made $3.8 billion selling customer orders amid the meme stock craze. Charles Schwab edging out Robinhood with the most PFOF gains. Not only are you paying them to misdirect your order, but in that, them misdirecting your order is making you lose. So I'll 100% stand by buy your shares, hold, cut out the options chain, supply and demand to the market makers. And if you are going to do it, like Froggy said, I think buying deep in the money calls, or deep in the money calls is probably the way to go. So I mean, I just don't know how much more clear I can be. If you're playing the options chain every week, you are directly funding Citadel.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the options is exactly how they're making the money, because look at the reaction of stocks when they first come out. There's no options. They all go vertical. Now, granted, it is FOMO, but they quickly get under control with options. And when you dilute the buying pressure, the upward pressure, with puts and calls, you divide and conquer the group, and that's exactly what happens. They take control by splitting up the pressure. And diamonds are made under pressure. So if options weren't around, all the pressure would just be applied one direction.
Well, think of this. Anybody who's short a real stock, AMC is short, or Citadel is short AMC raw stock, right? The only way for them to hedge is through the options chain.
I was going to
If
say,
there's no demand on the options chain from retail for them to make money, then their hedging will fail, and their short position will get crushed.
yeah, it took me a while to realize there's two sides of the market. We look at the green side, they play the red side, and like that's where a lot of confusion comes in, is like we're going toe to toe with billionaires, and it's a wild game. I mean, it's been wild this entire time, but like I said, I think we're more efficient with the buy and hold.
Yeah, if Citadel buys shares of AMC to short raw stock on the open market, more than likely they're going to buy calls and puts too. So the calls aren't really going to make them money. It's just going to prevent helping them take losses on their true short position. But what happens if the entire retail market decides, I'm not going to buy any options this week, I'm going to own raw stock? Then they don't have the incentive to drag the price down on the put side because they don't have the power to do it. There's nothing they're going to be able to do with the lack of supply in the options chain to drive it down. They're going to get paid less money in payment for order flow. And then what you'll see is calls start to land in the money. Now that might encourage some people to jump back into it, but if the calls that are out there are landing in the money and Citadel's losing, that means our raw stock price is going up.
Yeah. And
how many other people made $1 million on a call bet besides Trey that you know of?
I would have been close if we would have kept going.
Roaring Kitty. I mean, there's a couple, but you don't, you know.
It's a very small number of people, and congratulations to those who did.
Yep.
But compared to the amount of retail traders that are out there not doing it, it's not a good play to push on the community if everybody's not going to jump in, and it's just nothing you can coordinate without getting in trouble. But
Sure.
if people come in and just say, I'm just going to buy raw stock and hold, and we're not going to fund the options chain, the supply and demand gets destroyed. Citadel doesn't have any motivation to fill those orders anymore because they're not getting payment for order flow. So that's all I got to say about it. I think it's worth a shot. It's better than what we're doing now, that's for sure. And it's better than buying puts.
Well, what if going to the IEX really isn't making a difference? What if it's all in the option chain?
Well, and now that's a question that needs to be raised after what came out about Fidelity. People were trying to route to the IEX, but it was getting sent to, I guess, AMFL or something, some type of Fidelity holding tank that's a Darkpool or some such.
Yeah.
I would say at this point, I would say you can't trust any broker. I'm not going to move again personally because I still do have orders I'm seeing filled through the IEX. So I'll try to stick with that. But for the most part, if you pull your money out the options chain, Citadel has no point in being there because without making payment for order flow from that, they're losing money.
Yeah, and the thing is like, what if they are right that they don't make that much off of the payment for order flow? What if they are making it off of the spread? Because like, if they're only making a penny per share on the trade and they're getting 5 cents on the spread, maybe they're making more money with doing it. Because if you notice, the spreads are stupid, like they're bad, and there used to be a spread back in the day before it went into increments. You remember back when it was fractional? That gave them a spread, so they made a lot more money back then. Now with there not being fractions, and you can get right down to the penny, that should have eliminated most of that money that was being taken from you in the spread, and they're creating it again. So
yeah, they're front running. They know what the price is going to be on Friday, so they can position themselves any way they want to make as much money as they need. The options chain is completely broken. There's nothing. The only thing that helps by buying and holding shares is you take away a little bit of the power from the market makers.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important. I think if people do decide to engage on a personal level and no options may, you're going to see some pretty wild price action.
So, can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Go for it.
So, Spence, I read what you posted, and I agreed. I've never played with options. I've only bought and hold AMC GME, and now I'm still buying HYMC because it's the most affordable. But I've always, I've heard the argument about options and gamma squeezes and stuff like that. But do you think that most of these people who are in these stocks are playing options, or do you think most of them are buying and holding and just getting bored and then selling?
I think it's a mix. I think there are people that are selling. They're getting stressed out, and you can't blame anybody after they took, a run from 40% down to $12.95. Personally, I hope everybody's been buying through the dip and repositioning themselves for the way back up. I think the other half is exactly what you said, is the options chain. The biggest thing that I've noticed in the community is dilution. Yeah. People running the different plays to try to capitalize off of a run. I think the one thing that Wall Street has right about retail traders is we trade too much. I think people are losing a lot of money chasing big dreams on other plays.
No, the options chain is...
But let me ask you a question. So for the most part, I'm pretty much like a type A personality. I only buy AMC, HYMC, and GME. And that's all. Do you think if people keep playing options, this will just ride out for years?
The options chain is definitely an issue because every week, just look at the options chain. Just pull up a max pain calculator. There's several. You'll see that there's way more calls than there is puts, right? And that's just people. There's so many out of the money calls. It's crazy. It's just a lot. Like I'll pull it up right now.
Gamblers, they just can't help it. Because you think by now it's been pretty much obvious. Every time you play options, you lose every Friday, and they still do.
I think they're motivated by big dreams pushed by influencers in the community. When did the ape message go from buy and hold and stop giving Citadel your money to, hey man, let's sling some options together on AMC and GME and get blown out every weekend? Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
Right now, there's 11,000 call options at $51. Just so you guys are aware of that. There's more than that. That's just one.
The original idea was just to buy and hold and sit on it after when you can, and just keep building on that portfolio little by little. You just think that most people are just not buying and holding it. It's just like, I'll play options, and hopefully if it runs this week, I'll make the money this week. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are selling covered calls too, which isn't a bad strategy to make money on. But the problem is, if you're selling covered calls, you're basically, in a sense, hoping that the price goes down, and you don't want the price to hit your target because then somebody might decide to exercise. So you're hoping really the stock's going to go down, and then not even that, you're still paying payment for order flow. Ken Griffin's money is coming from payment for order flow because it's not coming from his shorts right now, and it's not coming from his long positions. If they're not making money off of payment for order flow, their revenue stream stops.
Okay, but they're still losing money, and even it doesn't make sense. All the stocks that, for the most part, are the hardest, get the cost to borrow goes down. So is it just working coordination where it's like, I mean, I've seen other stocks where it's like 200 to 40% to borrow, but these are like 1%, 1.2%, 6%, or 22%. So there's really no downside to shorting because the price keeps going down. I'm assuming they're making money at the same time because it just hasn't gone up. Even HYMC, as cheap as it is, you think people would just sit on that stock, right?
Oh, absolutely. Well, here's the thing with AMC is the cost to borrow is low, so it's really, really easy for shorts to hold their position open. But you got to remember, the average short position, I think, is probably still around $24 a share. These guys were in short at $1.90 to $5 and got blown out of the water. If all those positions would have been covered from $1.90 up to, say, $18, this thing already would have popped off. Short interest is still over close to 20%. So in theory, nothing's been covered. They just keep revolving doors circulating, failures, playing money off the options chain, playing money off of retail, and they can continue to do that because they have a consistent revenue stream coming in. I'll tell you right now,
the lenders are also
leave their money in Citadel and Melvin. People pulled their money out. That's why Citadel announced the gates they put up where you could only pull out 6% a quarter over 6 months ago.
And the last time they did that, when they were hurting too, back in 2008. So maybe they're in the same position. That's the theory of history repeating itself.
And I think the lenders are purposely keeping the cost to borrow down.
I agree with that too.
Absolutely. Well, think of this. If they keep the cost to borrow down, and we're going to keep playing the same game, and Citadel's going to keep making money off payment for order flow, the lenders have a constant stream of revenue coming in, making millions and millions of dollars month after month. They don't need a big swing. They just need to wait to collect their fees.
Who's to say that Wall Street aren't the ones that keep buying these call options to hedge against everything?
The problem is that what's a $51 call option cost? $40, for one contract, probably. I'm guessing.
Cheap, but yeah, people shouldn't be buying anything way out there like that because they're going to get blown out. And that, I'm not objective with people selling premium that's far out there just because, we're not going to hit that price unless it squeezes or starts running wild. And that takes some of the premium away from the market maker. I mean, you're already holding long anyway, so get that premium. But whenever it starts to move up and you get a gamma ramp, stop doing it for sure because you don't know if it's going to pop. And it's just one of them things, whatever we can do to take money from the market maker is what we should be doing safely. But it's a tricky thing because you don't want to get caught selling premium and then have them go into money and then they force you to sell your shares. That would be bad too. So it's it's a double-edged sword. That's why options just in general have been kind of part of the bane that's going on here.
Well, in selling covered calls, say we do start squeezing and everybody decided to sell covered calls, who even knows who's buying those? If market makers and hedge funds need to get those shares to cover their shorts, that's an opportunity for them to wait for a day where there's tons and tons of covered calls at, say, $30 a share. We start squeezing, and then they exercise, and now they have those shares to cover their positions. I'm telling you, the options chain is the problem. I've been thinking about it for 2 days now, been thinking about it for over a year, that Citadel is making hundreds of millions of dollars off of payment for order flow through this. And in that, since they can manipulate the options chain so successfully, they can front run any of their trades they want. And AMC has been getting blown apart since the call options started landing out of the money back when we were at 56, 40, 45 to 56 bucks. And people just go further and further into it because you had a bunch of YouTubers and influencers say, oh, let's do this. Let's buy calls. Come on my paid Discord. Let's blah, blah, blah. Other plays, maybe like DWAC or whatever, Tesla, if you're playing calls on that, good for you, whatever. I don't care.
Well,
but the core squeeze stocks, AMC, GME, HYMC, it blows my mind that we're still playing this game. There's just hundreds of millions of dollars being lost in payment for order flow, and price fixing.
Well, look at it this way. What really caused the run up in June, if you really look at it? I mean, BlackRock and Vanguard bought like almost 50 million shares. So that run up right there brought all the options in the money. So we had a catalyst, which was basically whales sitting on the table. And when they pushed it up, you got that gamma ramp and all that stuff that exploded right there. And we almost need that upward pressure again in order to bring in even the smallest chunk of options. And right now we're kind of options heavy, and it's not helping things. My opinion, though.
Totally agree. And you can account for some of the run-ups with share offerings that Adam Aaron did, because people came in really hard to buy institutions because they knew they could loan these shares out.
No.
So you quit playing the options chain, take away the supply and demand opportunity in the options chain, and you'll see cost to borrow go up significantly because the demand for shares will go down.
No.
Take buying shares. Eventually, there'll be less shares. Like, eventually, we'll hit a point where there are no shares to borrow.
Now, Stockgrid says here the run-up in June was because of the executive order, which I believe that theory too, because Boss Blunts did pull it up that there was an executive order making certain types of collateral worthless, which forced the run-up. And, like, that does make total sense because, like, I seen the executive order. The timing was perfect. It all made total sense. So, I mean, there's a good chance it might have had nothing to do with anything that we did. It could have been an executive order that caused problems. And hopefully that's what it is, because then we could probably time the next one better. But it is kind of odd on timing that BlackRock and Vanguard bought in just before that executive order, and everything just came together for a big mess.
Well, and that's just it, too. It's, we just had a big issue with Russia and China and a lot of banks and funds losing liquidity over money being locked up overseas due to the things going on with communism in Ukraine and China just doing what China does. These hedge funds in America right now have never been more strapped in the past 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
Pantheon in the chat, but Sugar Kush he's been waiting for a while, but Pantheon is in the chat as well, if you want to join in on your request. Go ahead, Sugar Kush.
I just want to say good evening, first of all, and I just want to say thank you to, you, DWAC, Froggy, and Spence, and everyone else, those who are educating people. See, that's what we need. We need more of this. And, I don't know about big YouTubers or what people did influence or what they are doing, but you guys are making a difference, educating people about options. And, I am, like, when we all know, like, we are given money to Citadel to use it. They are using the same money against us. And why are we even giving them more and more money in options when we know that they are the ones, those who control everything? And, one thing, like you guys say, I have never played option on AMC. And, my shares never expired. They're still here. I haven't lost a single share because, they don't expire. So what you guys are doing, I know you guys might not have a lot of big following, but every one person can make a lot of change. I had a brother who was playing options. He lost $20,000 in options. Now, if he would have bought $20,000 in shares, they would not have expired.
Right.
So lot of what you guys are doing, it's very good. Keep educating people. Keep bringing awareness. Sooner or later, more and more people are getting aware, and people want to, because our main goal was to buy and hold. Like, you guys were here. I started in June when things was going up, and you guys were way here before me. And there was one thing: buy and hold. And everybody there was buy and hold, and if we all buy and hold, if you can't buy shares, that's fine too. But don't like if you don't know nothing about options, please don't waste your money. Keep it safe. Some you can use it for something else if you don't want to buy the shares, but why don't waste it on options? Because you are just giving those people more fuel to the fire. They're gonna just use all that money against us.
Yeah.
And
I agree with what you're saying. Let me ask you guys a question in terms of that buy and hold. Adam Aaron came out with supporting HYMC. Now, every time I heard there was a new stock, it always seemed like, all right, there's a new option out there, and it's just everyone's like, it's a distraction. People said AMC is a distraction on GME. I never got into GME other than about 20 or 30 shares because it was too expensive. I got into AMC because it was more affordable. Now, HYMC has a smaller float, much more affordable. I load up on a ton of those. Is it possible that because it's smaller, you can create the same, situation that AMC had or GME had with a smaller float, much quicker with buy and hold without, because obviously the option chain isn't working there as well. But, it looks like 154 or 150 looks to be the bottom, and I'm not sure it's just because there's more people buying. And if gold goes up above $2,000, it would be hard to value that much less, which in turn would, be an asset for AMC, right, and raise the value of AMC.
Absolutely. If Hycroft achieves its true price, they have over $1.09 to $1.30 in cash on hand per share right now. So there's no way that the stock should be valued below that. But if Hycroft achieves any type of a price over $5 a share, say this, if they hit $11 a share, that's $450 million in assets on the AMC books now. So in turn, Hycroft is more than likely a way for AMC apes to go in and buy more shares at a more affordable price than it is for AMC right now. Like, you're not going to get the big volume that we saw when shares were between $1.90 and $10, right? But now we can jump into Hycroft, which has a lot of squeeze potential and is now on AMC's books as an asset. So if this thing does take off, $5 should be no problem. But if this thing takes off and gets anywhere over $10, AMC is probably going to fly off the rails because they're going to be able to show that asset on their books as a major gain. And then if you check the warrants, the amount of money that they're convertible at on some of these is ridiculous. It's like, I think there's some that's like 10, there's some at 40. So they know this thing is going to rock. I mean, Diane Garrett's wearing a freaking rocket pin on her shirt when she's doing interviews. You know what I mean?
I did see
so
that.
I consider HYMC any type of dilution against AMC.
I mean, so that seems like the narrative, right? It's like if you have cash, if you buy and see if you can and hold, and if not, I mean, does it make more sense to throw? Like, I know it's not financial advice, but what I've been doing is throwing my money that I can and just buying and holding HYMC and building my shares in that as much as possible.
We'll check it out. Adam Aaron announced that we own over 90% of the float already. So
well, based on the numbers, isn't it like at 108% with even the investors, the institutional ones?
HYMC, I don't think is. I think the definition of hold on, I got it in front of me right here. There's something funky going on because right now, as of record date, they are reporting that shares outstanding are 107.25 million, right? Well, AMC, Sprott, Mudrick, and Highbridge own 20 million over what that outstanding share count would be. So I'm not sure why Hycroft's reporting the outstanding shares as 107.3 million and Fidelity's showing outstanding shares of 198 million. So this letter getting put out to people, I think there's something going on. They know it. They know there's more shares out than there should be. And I think all this is part of a plan to expose it. I think that's why these share offerings are important.
Okay.
Now, let me get to a couple of these questions. I got like 20 of them here stacked up. I do want to do a shout out to Pantheon, too.
I have a question from the Stockgrid. He's saying, is it FUD or is Sheldon Capital closing their doors soon, or is that FUD?
It's rumor until we actually see them doing it. I mean, we'll just take it with a grain of salt. What was it, supposed to be June or something? Which,
Yeah. That's
mean,
what I keep seeing.
I'm not too worried if they close their doors or not. I mean, it would be kind of nice if it happened, but we'll wait for verification on that if that's actually true. And
I think they're going to unwind all their bad positions. They're going to get out. Then they're going to try to lure their investors back in because they know that they're not going anywhere right now. If they stayed on the same path they were going right now, they would have to sell the building.
yeah. Here's a question from Highway Frog. It says, I have lots of respect for people who do their homework and step in on the options ring. I choose not to. I own the shares. What's nice about this conversation is we're actually digging into options, and there's a lot of really good input coming in from experienced options people. Like you got Rob and Stockwiz and other people that are chiming in too. So we're getting all kinds of input, and that's the nice thing about it is we got all these brains and we're sitting here right now basically kicking around the ideas, and it's definitely nice to hear both sides.
And I seen somebody post in chat 1348, which works. That's kind of the strategy that I use, but people need to understand the strategy. That's the downside to it, you know.
Right here, says Stockwiz says Melvin's going to close the position in June. Any comments or proof? I saw this from some YouTuber. I heard about it too. I just don't know if there's proof on it or not, but I do kind of hope that it is true. Is Schwab any good? I don't know. I don't really use them. Does anybody have an opinion on Schwab?
I don't use them. I only use TD, so I can't really say anything on that.
There it is. 48.
TF Hatter is right. It works, but you need to know the strategy. Basically, it's not a hard strategy to know. So it's just, I'll leave it at that.
Now, Ryan Lawrence actually has kind of a good point here, even though I'm not a fan of Robinhood at all. But he says Robinhood might be the least corrupted out of the brokerage since they have the least experience on Wall Street. Fidelity's got so much experience, they know how to manipulate really good. That's kind of a really good, scary point.
I would just have to say to that Robinhood is the absolute right finger of Citadel. Yeah, they are the least experienced, but if anything, Vlad is just a CEO implant put there by Citadel, so he does what they want. I would absolutely not put any money into Robinhood whatsoever.
Yeah, I think they're all fishy, if you ask me. I mean, we don't really have a good, honest one, I don't think. Just when you thought Fidelity was like the safe haven, they're pulling shenanigans, and it's like, is it a glitch? I don't really think so. I think there's more to it. I think
I would say with Fidelity, at least we can see that that's happening. So people can go, okay, hey guys, my order didn't route IEX, which people got to remember, you got to put fill or kill on that. Because if they break your order off, then it'll go routed to wherever they want. I placed 2 trades today, and they went IEX. I have the receipts. I know a couple people tried and they didn't. What I would say, though, is if you're going to use Robinhood, you 100% know that those are going to go to the dark pool because there's no way they're going to route it to where you want. At least I'd say for now with Fidelity, there's a chance. I'm going to go and do some more research on, I think people were saying Public is a non-PFOF. So
yeah, what I like to know is I can do IEX. I use E-Trade. I use IEX, but I can only do IEX when I'm at my PC. But for my phone, because I mostly travel, that's why I buy my trades. I don't know how to do IEX when I'm on my mobile phone. Does anyone know how to do that on E-Trade?
Are you on Pro?
You mean I could download Pro? I didn't use Pro, but I could try that.
I think Pro has the option. I don't think you can get it off the normal because I had the normal E-Trade and I didn't see the option in there. So I know with Pro,
I'll give that a shot tomorrow.
Yeah, it doesn't cost you. I don't think it costs you anything extra to go to Pro, and it's a whole different layout. I think it's actually easier to use Pro, but I mean they're both kind of easy. I just think E-Trade's kind of. I mean, there's no like Robinhood's fancy where E-Trade isn't fancy, but I mean, you actually have. I think you do have the option in there to to go to the IEX or to a different exchange.
Yeah, no, I use E-Trade because I can do OTC stocks, but I'll try switching up to the Pro Ad Small.
Yeah, let me know how that turns out, because I haven't been on E-Trade in 2 years. So
okay, I'll let you know.
Let me see here. It says, Brendan says, why are you all talking about don't buy options? I play both sides. Sorry. No, there's nothing wrong with playing both calls and puts. If you're an experienced option trader, keep doing your thing. It's the experienced people that we're not talking about. It's the inexperienced ones that are just giving away money. If you're making money, you're taking money out of their pocket. So
Yes.
I mean, if you're doing it, keep doing it. But if you're in there getting smoked, I mean, that's who we're basically pinpointing. And because there's too many non-experienced in there just handing away. It's hundreds of dollars times millions of people, and Citadel's going to be sitting over there with a Happy Meal being super like cheesy.
Right. It's about chart reading, and there's a lot involved in it. You know, you just don't. YOLO in options is not a good idea. That's just the fact.
No,
well, I'll say I got to bounce too, guys, but I will say on my final word is that if you take away all the supply and demand from the options chain for a month, don't play up or down, just buy raw stock for a month, you're going to see some fireworks. So that's just my opinion on it.
Even if we bought it up to where the stock naturally climbed to 100, I think that would create margin calls, guaranteed. And it might even be sooner than that. But the reason why I'm looking at 100 is because it's the $50 billion mark. And even if you played options, it gets too expensive to counter it. And they don't like stocks that are over 50 billion. So if we even earned it the natural way and just did it in raw form, I still think we get margin calls on them. So one way or another, I think it happens.
Totally agree. Thanks for having me up, guys. Again, appreciate it.
Yeah, it's nice having you.
Thanks,
Thanks, Zach.
Yep.
Hey, Froggy. I think it's...
Go ahead, Bobby.
Hey, Froggy, I think it's a double-edged sword, because I think the market makers are also buying call options to hedge themselves.
I thought about that too. It would be smart if they knew it was going to run up, if they just bought into it. And I have that like I've been working on that funnel theory thing where I think they're just kind of rocking the boat with us and making money with us too, because it makes total sense. They were getting in trouble for security, the Citadel Securities and Citadel advisors exchanging information. Nothing ever came of it though, but I'm pretty sure that they are. It's very big.
So the real solution is to buy on IEX and hold.
That's the main theory, is just it's buy on IEX is definitely something that would be good. Just buying raw shares I still think is good anyways, even though it's not directly IEX. Some people aren't set up for it, but you should try to get set up for it. That's just my opinion.
So River Driver says, good luck. Tell that to the ones pumping 1348. Supposedly they are making so much money. Makes me wonder why they are even in the movement. So 1348 works on every single stock in the stock market, crypto. It works on everything. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's a strategy that does work for trading options. It works for trading stocks. It works. So if you know how to play options and you know how to play the 1348, you're not affecting AMC at all.
Yeah,
That's
if you're
just
making money, I wouldn't worry about anything. If you're consistently making money and you're growing, I mean, I would disregard anything and keep doing your strat.
It's not the people making money that are the problem. It's the YOLO, the $51 call options, the $40 call options, you know, because they can get them for cheap money, right? That is adding to the IV of the stock and messing with the option chain, right? So you're not getting a fair option chain, really, is what's happening.
Now Rob has a good comment here. It says, I love the buy and hold approach. It's great, which, I mean, it 100% good. Nothing wrong with it, but the no options movement thing that's been going on here lately is not smart, in my opinion. options will break these guys if played right. That's the problem. They're not being played right. If people were set in the right spot, which would be basically like a phase 2 of the no options. If you go with the no options, then go to a phase 2, which is deep in the money. I mean, Rob, what's your opinion on that? If we went from no options to deep in the money calls, would that be pretty much the right setup? I'll give him a chance to reply to that because I know he's probably just getting it now. Let me go through. I got 13 more questions to hit up real quick, so I'll try to get back and grab his. Stockway says, I've been saying for a year, stop buying these options. We will have an instant squeeze if retail listens. Options are BS. Yeah, options are definitely part of the problem, but it's the bad players of the options that's the problem. So you guys are both pretty much like right on as far as that. Because like I said, I mean, one thing that I like to do is make money selling premium. And I'm pretty sure the market maker likes to make money selling premium too. And that's probably how it's being funded. I don't even think they have to have any collateral. I think they can just write you the contract and take your money, where I have to actually have the stock and I got to put it up. And that's two totally different things. It's not fair for me, but I see what they do.
Hey guys, I got to jump off. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby, thank you, buddy.
Brendan says, like I said before, if you don't know how to play it, but can't say don't buy calls, just not, that just nonsense. Like I said, it depends on the experience of the people. A lot of people are. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people and they're buying strikes like in the 30s, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, I would never consider a 30 strike option right now, just because you're guaranteed to get blown out. Hand over all your money. Stockway says there's an executive order in June signed by the president for China securities as collateral. Yeah, I think it's June 3rd, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. Boss Blunts did find that. Brendan says, and Boss is buying options, period. Yeah, I'll be buying options too, just because, and I'll be deep in the money to make sure I get delta hedging. And I'll be buying long options on top of it just to make sure that, I'm not worried about getting smoked out. Definitely want to say a hi to Pantheon. If you guys
Hey, Pantheon, what's up, buddy?
Good dude.
Hey,
good work.
Casey Shaw's in here too.
How's it going, Casey Shaw?
Hey, Edward, you got a question in space call?
Stockway says let those brokers and those shorts dry out so they don't earn enough money to survive this play. I don't think they're going to survive it anyways. They should have already been margin called, I think, because I'm pretty sure they're way under on collateral, and they're just not letting it happen because they know that they can't cover all the shares. Rob says the run-up last June had nothing to do with the executive order. There was a push for the 20 strikes last June. FOMO took over. Yeah, FOMO was huge. I can't remember at what price. I think it was in the 30s. And it was a gamma squeeze with FOMO. Yeah, because once you go and break that max pain, you get that gamma ramp that goes into a gamma squeeze, and then you add FOMO to the top. I mean, that's pain and suffering.
I mean, I do feel that we don't have as much FOMO now as then. Back then it was new. Now it's kind of old news. I think we need to get some hype back into the stock. I think that's part of the problem.
Well, Stockway says bring up the videos that options are bad for the play, please. The thing that I look at, if I was a market maker and I knew that I was going to keep the stock under 25 a share, I'd sell as many contracts as you wanted at 25 or 26, and I would just suck up premium. And that's pretty much what they're doing. They control the price relatively. I mean, there's certain things that they're forced to do based upon the way that the mechanics are. But if they know that there's a good chance that your options aren't going to make money, they'll sell you as many as you want. And they won't go and delta hedge with your stuff. They don't have to. They just take your money. When you go and sell a call, there's no rule that says they have to take that money. Like if I sell you a call and I get $100 for the contract, there's no rule saying that I have to go and delta hedge with it at all. I just put that in my pocket, or go buy a short or sell a short, cover it with that money. That's it. And, you know, I can try to drive the stock away from your price and guarantee that I make your premium. And that's probably what's going on here. Brennan says when GME squeezed, they were F because of the gamma and FOMO buying and options as a combination. If I'm wrong, please prove me wrong. No, you're right. That's what happened with GME. There was a combination of price movement, gamma, and just a combination of problems. And it only ramps up and gets worse and worse and worse for them. And that's why they took the buy button away. So you're 100% right. There was the gamma ramp, but it had to start somewhere. There had to be the pressure that led to the gamma, that led to the squeeze, and forced them to do something that was completely shocking, which is take the buy button. Brendan says GME shareholder meeting June 2nd. Yep, I think it's going to be big. Is it June 2nd? I thought it was. Yeah, it is June. Gold and silver will skyrocket, and a new rainbow currency is here and will be revealed soon. That's that fake Gary Gensler, but still, there's a little bit of truth to that. I don't know about the rainbow currency, but I mean, the US dollar crypto coin thing is starting to pop up and make some noise. So Carl says the low volume in AMC lately could lower the volume because AMC retail has not been selling. Yeah, the problem is when we buy up all the shares, there's nothing to transact and move around. So the volume's going to keep slowing down. What it does is it basically binds the system up. And at some point, I mean, when there's no trading volume and there's only buying pressure coming in and there's no shares available to flip-flop around like they've been doing, eventually it forces the price to go either up or down. And since it's all buying pressure, I can't say all of it, but it's majority buying pressure versus selling pressure. You'd force the price to walk up, and that would create FOMO, I think. I think I got all my questions here. Let me pick out a couple more and see what else we got here.
Can you, someone asked, can you explain how does the money indicator work?
It just basically keeps track of the buys and sells, and it's just that simple. There's nothing fancy about it. When there's a stock bought, when there's a stock sold, it basically indicates it, and it basically follows the cash flow. When the money's leaving the stock, you see it. When the money's coming back in, you see it. And if you notice, a lot of people watch options to figure out where the money's going. And I'm actually watching the money collectively moving, whether it's stock or options, and it's pretty much all in one. Rob says, I would suggest people to learn options before playing them, but it's a tool that can absolutely crush these guys in the end. Yeah, Rob's 100% right. If options are played right, this game would be over within like a few weeks. But the tricky part is, like, in order for it to happen perfect, it would have to, it's like rolling the dice and getting a 7. You got to hope that half go towards raw stock and half go towards the right options, and people aren't buying the puts, and then you can get that boat rocking, and max pain would be disrupted, causing the gamma ramp. And it would have to happen week after week after week. And what helped was the fact that BlackRock and Vanguard were doing the buying while we were doing money wasting on options, and they brought us in the money, and that caused a lot of explosion. That one's probably for you, Mediocre Trader.
1348 coverage is when I noticed an increase on options trading streams. Dork put out a video months ago, and then suddenly, yeah, he did put out a video, and the reason he put out a video is for educational reasons, right? He wants people to learn how to trade, right? It puts an idea in to get people to learn charting, to get people to learn 1348. It kind of helps people learn charting, to be honest with you. So I don't disagree. I think the 1348 is a good strategy. And, you know, I know that, well, as far as I know, they weren't promoting it on AMC or GME, but I could be wrong on that, right? But I don't necessarily play those stocks. I use it on other stocks. But I'm just saying people who don't know options they should try to learn options. The 1348 is a good way to learn a strategy, but there's more to options than just 1348, right? You have to know, you know, your the Greeks of the options, and there's all kinds of stuff that you need to know, right? It's not just one thing. So I'm not talking down to anybody who doesn't like options or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. The whole point of it is to get people's minds to open up their mind and get them to kind of think about trading whatever. But 1348 is not only for options. I want to clear that up. You know, I don't want that to be a misconception. It is used for options, but that's not all that it's used for. It's a very good learning tool for charting. I'll leave it with that. Vanguard is good and BlackRock is bad. Trust Uncle Gary.
Yeah.
I don't like any of them.
What about TD Ameritrade? We have options on lit market. If so, yeah, TD Ameritrade, you can actually go to lit. What's next? Tell people to short AMC as long as you're making money. I'm not sure who you're talking to, but I definitely never suggested shorts or puts. So you might want to go back and check and see what you were listening to.
Neither one of us are telling anybody to buy puts on AMC. The 1348 crossover has nothing to do with puts or calls. It's a crossover move on the chart. If you know charting, you'll understand what it is. I'm just saying that it's a good strategy to help people learn. That's it.
Rob says it won't even take 100. Once it crosses 72, it's over. Funds will get liquidated. The only reason why I said 100 is because, like, I still have it in my head. Any stock over $50 billion is like untouchable at that point. Like, they don't like to fight with them when they're up to that price, and so that's why I said 100, because I think that gets you pretty close to there. So, but yeah, you're probably right. It's probably a lot lower than that due to the short position. They'll get liquidated probably in the 50s. But you're probably right. 72 it'd be checkmate at that point. Carl says, I like these TA discussions. The more retail becomes more informed and educated about our options, we will be making money and enjoy our wait for the AMC MOAS. Yeah, I agree. I think being educated about the options is important. A lot of people don't know about options, and like I said, they're playing them, and it's kind of scary.
And that's the kind of the point of the whole show, was to do that, right? To educate. If we don't talk about it and we just pretend like nothing's happening, it's how does that benefit the community?
Now, I thought Gary Gensler couldn't see anything, but he actually hit it with a fact here. He says, WM, they are showing their faces. So he might not be able to see market manipulation, but he can see that we're not hiding ourselves.
Well, go ahead, Noah. What's up, y'all?
What's going on, man?
You have a question?
Yeah. What do you think AMC is going to be in next week?
Well, that's typically whenever it's pulled back, usually the only option for it is to go back up. It's oversold right now, and I'm always going to think bullish at that point whenever it's oversold, because I usually buy on dip, and like today looks like a great dip buying opportunity. So now, technically, I would be I like to buy on like towards the end of Friday, just because I always think that they're going to make it dip a little bit more, but things are changing. It looks like they're going to be running things up on Friday. So, but I wouldn't expect too much from Friday, but Monday would probably be the reversal of your trend. I think Friday they're going to aim for max pain.
I agree, and I think
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Do y'all think 1348 is a good strategy?
Yeah, a lot of people seem to be using it and they like it. So.
Yeah, Froggy, you got to review Dorcas in a space call. He knows all about it if he wants to talk about it. I don't know or not.
Yeah, bring him up.
Yeah, review Dorcas here now, yeah.
Yeah, bring him on up, man. If I remember right from what I heard from the rumor, he was the one talking about it first. So it'd be nice to hear it right from him himself because he obviously has experience with it. What's going on, Review Dork? We're talking about the 1348, and someone said you were here.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on? Yeah.
What's up, Gabe?
Just listening in. What questions would you have?
The 1348. I knew that there was some talk that you knew about it and stuff like that. And could you enlighten us on the 1348 and your thoughts on it?
And people are saying that
1348, I mean, it is the most profitable EMA crossover strategy since 2008, back tested after the housing recession. And it is a very, very profitable strategy. In fact, we back tested it with the bot over the past 6 years, testing the entire market. And for those who choose not to play options, you play the shares using the 1348, and it has with a daily gain target of 2%. It has a 75% win rate. So the strategy there's nothing proprietary about it, guys, right? Nothing. But we do have set of rules and conditions that, we cement, in our private group, that needs to be followed. And with that, it is a means of attainment. So, our group was created specifically to create dry powder so they could use at their discretion whether they want to, again, help finance their own personal lifestyle, considering a lot of people have put a lot of money into AMC and or just buy more have dry powder to buy more AMC stock. So, I think, 1348 in and unto itself is completely different or totally separate from, the behavior that we're seeing with, AMC and GME. However, 1348 can predict the moves, and it will help you visualize the momentum, whether, no matter what time frame you're in, you're able to visualize momentum. And as you travel from equity to equity, different charts, right, you're able to see which equities travel in tandems. And that's what, our private group is able to see. And, it's a very, very profitable strategy. It absolutely works. I'm not going to go into the nuances of it. I just feel like at this point, while AMC is marinating and doing its thing, right, for me, I just have AMC locked and loaded, and I just ignore it, right? That's a long hold for me at this point. I know it's something that each don't want to hear. Like, every day it's, we hear manipulation. The thing is like, I'm not a sit and wait kind of guy. I'm very, very aggressive. And so I'm not going to sit and wait for something to happen. We have something here, a tool that helps individuals, 1348. Again, guys, you could go ahead and take the EMAs, put it on your chart, and back test it yourself, and just put it along with your favorite 4 equities. So outside of AMC, if your favorite equity is, let's say, Lucid, Tesla, AT&T, Ford, whatever that may be, you can literally see how the 1348 would make you a better swing trader, day trader, intraday trader, a better options trader, and you would be able to, sort of kind of ascertain your own rules I mean, that's all 1348 is. You know, it's fun. You know, people are having fun. People are making money. They're changing their lives, and they're being proactive in changing their lives, as opposed to, you know, just sitting there waiting for something to happen. Now, my conviction in AMC has not changed, right? But outside of that, you know, traders and investors have different types of portfolios. You have your long hold portfolio. That's where I have my AMCs. That's where I have my Fords. That's where I have all my long holds. Then you have, you know, your day trading portfolio, and then you have your options portfolio. There, you know, we have multiple portfolios. So, you know, that's all I really have to, you know, say right now. You know, it sucks. AMC went down with the market. If anybody was following the SPY, you will see that the SPY went down, Tesla went down. I mean, everything just pretty much followed the market. So, I mean, there's, what can I say to that? There's really nothing we can do to that other than, you know, aside from AMC, yeah, we're playing options in other plays. You know, if you played options with the SPY today, you could very well have been up 600%. And these are things that we're teaching people, and they deserve to know. You know, sitting here passively and just screaming market manipulation, like, we know it's there, but instead of fighting against the trend, we go with the trend. And that's what 1348 is. And that's what the whole study is about, is teaching investors to go with the trend. Because as retail, we only constitute 10% of daily cash volume in the market. So you have to go with the trend. And that's
I
it.
100% agree with you, Gabe.
No.
Would you mind asking me answering a couple questions for me since you're here? No, do you go down?
No, he's still here. Yeah, Mediocre Trader's got a couple questions. Would you mind answering a few? Is it Gabe?
Yeah, it's Gabe.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, Gabe. So here's my question, and it's I already kind of know the answer to it. It's just for everybody else since you're in here. I figure I'll let you answer the question. If you're playing options and you're winning in your options trade, are you taking money away from the market maker?
When you're playing options, are you taking money away from the market maker?
Yep.
Essentially, that's where we're down. Somebody's losing on the other end of it. It could, in fact, be other retailers who are selling, you know, whatever. You see what I'm saying? But,
Exactly.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, the market maker.
Right. So the people who are losing in options trades are probably that. And I'm not picking on anybody. I'm just saying, like, people are going to lose, right? And that if you're not, the 1348 strategy works. I use it. So that's what I use. I'm just going to say that. And I know it works, and you know it works, right? And there's other people who know it works. My point is yes, people are losing in options. So we're trying to get people who are not winning in options to kind of not make YOLO bets is what I'm getting at, I guess I'm trying to say. But the other question I have is, do you trade on margin or do you trade on a cash account?
Yeah, you were cutting out towards the end. What was the question again?
Do you have a margin account or a cash account that you play on?
We play this with a cash account. We do not do margin. So the rules to the 1348 is to have a cash account, play with settled cash only. And let's say and that would mean with a cash account, if you have a $10,000 portfolio and you enter a play, and we have very stringent rules, 10% allocation per play, right? That would mean you would enter a play with $1,000, right? This is just an example. The thing is that you do not need a margin account to make this work, because if you're trading more than 4 to 5 trades per day, obviously you're over trading. But since you're using a cash account, you're all good because your options settle the next day. So it just, you know, there's really no reason for margin using the strategy, right? So.
No, I agree.
I have a question. You don't have to answer if you don't want. It's like, what kind of stocks do you pick, like market cap wise? Do you have like a certain size that you prefer to trade?
I prefer equities anything over $10 is free game. Also, average true range. You have to consider ATR. So ATR is basically a volatility indicator. For example, Tesla has an ATR at or about 50, which means it's going to move 50 points in a day, which again just gives you just a range of how the equity is going to move for that day. So we as a group, we like to pick, the stocks that move, right? So for instance, Ford is not necessarily a mover, right? And in fact, Ford would be a perfect equity to long hold, which is also part of my long portfolio. So, you got movers like, let's say, the Lucids, or you got, again, the Teslas, the NVIDIAs, the AMDs, the SoFis. There's over, 6,000 equities, right? But we prefer something, that just moves, and it has an ATR value of, $1.50 or greater, right? So that's what we like to play. We don't like penny stocks. We don't like the BBIGs. I mean, you have some individuals that insist on it in the private group, and, they do well, but penny stocks are just flat out garbage and an absolute waste of time. And if you're a fan of 1348, you would see that something like BBIG being a penny stock, and I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off here, but the thing is you're tying up money to push a stock or move a stock, but then you'll have someone go ahead and play a 1348 put option against it once, it's reached its apex, right? So, I think, this whole chasing penny stocks, it's fruitless initially. At least that's my opinion. That's just my opinion. I think in the meantime, apes need to savvy up and learn the game, become traders, whatever the case may be, right? Build up the dry powder and then get into, just really embrace their role as a trader, right? Because that's what you guys are. And, build that dry powder and then create that buying pressure for AMC, right? I mean, there were a few narratives that were flying around with AMC, buy puts to make it go boom, which really just didn't really make any fucking sense to me. Excuse my language.
No.
Right? Made absolutely no sense to me. Just given the nature of, the way options work. But
I'm
yeah,
right with
sorry
you.
for the long answer, man. But again, we like to play anything above 20. That's the
I
short answer.
appreciate you coming on here and talking with us too.
Yeah. Now, just out of curiosity, while I got you on here, is there any chance that you would be interested in coming on for like an interview so you can like let people know who you are and stuff like that and like what you're about?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem. I mean, everybody knows what I'm about. I think for the most part, everybody knows that I'm just an abrasive asshole and I don't back down. But I believe in AMC, and I do. But I also believe that it's time. It's time. We can sit here and talk about market maker this, market maker that. Manipulation this, manipulation that. But at the end of the day, your portfolio is your responsibility. Right, and so I'm an advocate of that, and you have to be proactive with your portfolio. And if you want to be market makers, you have to embrace your role as one, a lifelong learner, and two, accept that in embracing that role as a lifelong learner, you will inevitably become a trader. Okay, and that's what I advocate for. I mean, you guys already know what I'm about. Not necessarily cooking hookers. I know I branded myself that way. For a reason. That's my buffer, right? That is a buffer.
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't play, goody two shoes, good old American boy here, because that's just not fucking reality. But anyways, I got to sign out, guys. Thanks for letting me in. All right.
Yeah.
And, you guys keep doing what you're doing. We buy, we hold, we buy more until AMC moves.
Yeah,
So I just want to say before you go that the 1348, because of what you said, that it helps protect people who trade against market manipulation. Would you agree with that, Gabe, before you leave?
Okay, 1348, what it does is 1348 coincides with the what we would say, the trend is your friend, right? If you attempt to go against the trend, you're going to get your ass handed to you. So, the trend is your friend. You follow the trend, okay? and you make your money, right? And in doing so, you know, you buy some AMC shares, you create that buying pressure, right? So to answer your question, you know, do what the market's telling you it's going to do. You know, we don't always have to, you know, bet bets with the market, right? We don't. The market maker's there to make a market for us, and if we follow the trends, we make money like everybody else. That's simple.
Thanks, Gabe. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming, man. I appreciate you coming up and informing us on the 1348 and stuff like that. I'll send you a message in your DMs. You're on Twitter, right?
Yeah. Just shoot me a DM, and you know, I'll be happy. You know what? The Discord family would be happy, you know, to bring you on in if you want to see firsthand what it's all about. But let me tell you, it's incredible. It's incredible the lives we're changing. It's incredible the level of accountability that people are taking for themselves and the financial freedom they're able to attain. It's just absolutely incredible. And so, you know, I would love to give you, you know, a you know, firsthand perspective. So just shoot me a DM.
All right, will do, man. Thanks, I appreciate it. And
take care.
Yep, take care, man. Thanks for coming.
Later, Gabe.
Appreciate it.
Yep, later, man.
So, I mean, that's the whole point, and I agree. That's how the 1348 works, and it works good, and I use it.
Yeah, obviously it's like a very safe thing to be using, because I mean, he just said it right there. I mean, it's what, 70-some% effective. I mean, that means you're going to make money majority of the time. Even if you lose 30% of the time, if you're winning 70% of the time, you're still gaining money over like 10 plays. So you got to look at it in the long run, and it compounds, so it gets even better.
You just got to follow the rules.
And also too, Froggy, you can make 10% or whatever you put in. So say for example, if you put in 1,000, you can make $100 a day, and it swings up and down, you know, with whatever you're willing to, you know, put at it, which is most of the time successful anyway. That's all I got.
No, you're right. I see some people shooting for them like doublers, and that's nice to go get 100% return on an option. But I mean, if you're not greedy, you can almost get it more often than not. And
Exactly.
So you can get like a 25%, 30, or even a 50%. I mean, you start compounding that and you're 70% successful. I mean, it does pay out in the long run. So, and what he's saying, you put the money in, like, obviously you leave AMC or your long positions alone, but you're going to still trade with your minimal money. And he's even taken 10% of his minimal money. I usually turn it all into more AMC. So instead of letting it sit there in cash, I got two accounts. I got one with AMC, and then I make more money, and I still turn it to AMC instead of leaving it in cash. So, but it's the same idea. You got the one brokerage house, which is like basically your vault, and that's the Fidelity. And then you use the other one like an E-Trade or Ameritrade, and you trade on those. And you do the same thing over there, but you swing trade it on that one just because, like, it's your trading portfolio, and you're leaving your long position alone. You're not monkeying with it. And if you get enough shares acquired, you could just transfer them over or just leave them in that account. It's still insured by the FDIC. So or is it FDIC or SPIC? Whatever it is, it's insured, so it should be safe there anyways. As long as you're not in Robinhood, you should be good. Or Webull, I think. I'm pretty sure Webull's definitely bad. But I haven't really looked into it. I really don't use Webull for anything but the charting for on here. I use it so you can see 4 at once, and that's it. I don't really know much about the features on it, but I've heard that it's bad, so I don't trade on it. Nard OQ says, Froggy, my friend's looking for a financial advisor. Who'd you recommend, Ape Father or Lou? Well, I don't know if you got lesser of two evils there, but I think you're screwed there if those are your choices. Let me see here. We're probably going to have to wrap things up here in a second. So if you guys can hit that like button, I definitely appreciate it. Let me see here. Let me skim through real quick and see if there's any questions that I need to grab, because I did kind of get held up there. Carl says the algos will adjust after a while. 1348 might be counteracted by algos after a while. The thing about the algos, they still cross over at some point. Like what goes up must come down. What goes down must come back up in this market. And what the 1348 does is it shows you the crossover point. So, and that's how you make your money.
There's more to it than just a crossover, though. I want to make that clear. Like, just because a cross happens doesn't make it a great trade, right? There's other steps that are involved in it, and that's kind of what Gabe was saying too. And it's kind of hard to go over it like on here like this right now, but there's rules, there's all kinds of stuff. So it's just not only the crossing. There's more to it, but it is very profitable. And if you don't follow the rules, it's very unprofitable.
Ray Mills says, here's who you can trust. For some reason, she put CS Trades on there. I think we're going to debunk that this week. Casey Trade or Casey Shaw. I'm not sure about Casey Trades. I think she meant Shaw. Definitely trust Casey Shaw, Pantheon. There's other ones out there that you can definitely trust too, but we should kind of work on, finding reliable sources for information. I mean, believe it or not, like Tony Denaro is pretty solid on his TA or his DD. So when he puts something out about something, usually he's pretty good about it. I know Maz, he likes to get into the news and other stuff too. He's usually pretty good. And there's other people we have on the list that are their best intentions is to bring out the best news. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, we'll be definitely looking into the 1348 because I think it might be something easier to teach people is a trading style. And that's pretty much what it is. It's like a strategy that you could use. Instead of just buying the dip, you can actually see the dip. You can see the change of direction, and you can buy in. And Mediocre Trader already knows it. So, with a little bit of charting, a little bit of 1348, just a little bit of understanding on how plays move. For doing just little trading to learn how to do it, I think it's good for the long run. And that still takes me back to that theory. If you feed a man a fish, you feed them for a day. If you teach them how to fish, they feed themselves for life. And I think this would probably be a good way to go. And maybe right after the show here, me and Mediocre Trader will come up with a strategy of how to bring in the 1348 and make it happen. So, but we're about 20 minutes past when we should have got off. But yeah, let's go ahead and wrap things up, guys. Miss Harris, you want to go ahead and close it out?
Go ahead, Bobby. You go ahead first.
Let me say one thing real quick because I do see the one. He just messaged me. I do want to do a shout out to the one. I'm not sure if he's still at work, but he does come on at 7:30, which is in about an hour and 10 minutes. He does go over some good stuff and good information too. So definitely stop over there and check him out after the show. He does do a lot more following up on other stuff. And you got the Hedge over there too. Great group of guys, great people. So definitely stop over there and check them guys out. I do want to do a shout out to Casey Shaw. He did show up here. I'm not sure if he's still here. Another good guy. Check him out in the morning. Pantheon, he was here too. So I want to do a shout out to him as well. Another good guy. Definitely should be checking him out. And let me see, who else do we have that popped up? Gabe. We're going to be trying to bring him back on here so he can give us a little bit more information on 1348 and what they've done on I don't know. It's just important to get the information out there because an educated investor is a good trader. So if that's what he's doing over there right now is he's teaching people how to trade. And I think it would be important to basically inform and educate. So the one, if you want to say something. Floor is yours, man.
Oh, thanks, guys. Good show again. Zay, Froggy. Appreciate it as always. Diva, Bobby, everybody else. You know, just keep holding. Just gets so frustrating. I know it does.
Oh, I agree.
You know, just keep doing what we're doing. But in order to have a good time and laugh, forget the end of the day, you're always welcome to join us. 8 Radio, 7:30 Eastern, daily. That's about it. We'll be in a good mood tonight. Some funny stuff coming around tonight. Oh, and also Eric Stanley, AMC Ideas, 7 p.m. Eastern. Those are the ideas that are submitted to our silverback, Adam Aaron, right before the next quarter call. We're up to about, I think, 500 or 600 ideas. So if you have an idea, want to expand on one, just chill out for a little bit, support the group, that's great. Then you can mosey on over to 8 Radio. Like I said, 7:30. We'll see you. We'll see it, and we'll have a good show tonight. We'll dispense through the nonsense that we deal with every single day. I have to curb my tongue. But thanks again, Froggy. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man. I appreciate having you.
Thanks, the one. How are you, buddy?
I do want to do a shout out for Spence too. He was here earlier. Another good guy too. So I just want to make sure we do a shout out to all the people that take time to come in and put their input in, because it's important. Information is power, and that's what they bring to the table, is a lot of info, and it's good for everybody that's here. The goal is to bring out as much information as we can possibly get and do it each day and just keep repeating it. So, yeah. Bob, you want to do your close?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to HD213. He's always in here, dedicated. Tariq, thank you guys, Froggy, Mediocre Trader, and hey, AMC to the moon, and we got this, guys. So hey, stay positive. That's all I got.
Thanks, Bobby.
I'd like to thank everyone that's up in the space call. Please go down into the chat, like and subscribe to Froggy and the Mediocre Trader. Bunch of good, great guys. Also, I'd like to shout out our sister Jen, who didn't make it today, but she's normally here supporter. Thank you, Sugar Cruz from Terrible's community. And the one, thank you so much from 8 Radio, along with Jordan, Viper, in the head. Appreciate you guys dearly. I also want to say thank you, Mr. Casey Shaw. I have to say that Casey Shaw is phenomenal. You guys don't know him. Early in the morning, he has a radio show. Come on early in the morning at 6 o'clock. Well, 4 o'clock our time, but 6 o'clock, whatever you guys want to say. And he's really, really great. He lets you come in there, and they just laugh and have a really good time. I'd like to thank him, and I'd like to thank Thick_Flair, Jay. Appreciate you. Melo, appreciate you too. I appreciate everyone that's in here in the space call all the time. Everyone that always supports Froggy. But listen, guys, someone asked Froggy about that money indicator. You guys want to be a member, and I'm not just saying this to be saying this. You have to be a member. That money indicator lets you know, like he said, when the money's coming in, when the money's going out. All the money, not just options or calls, all the money, he said. So you want to be a member. You have to be a member. You will not be able to ask him any questions. And we were talking about it yesterday. Maybe, I don't know if he's going to do it on the space call, because he can't do it on the space call because it's for members only. So you want to join. It's only as low as $4.99 a month. $4.99 a month. Appreciate you, Froggy. Appreciate you, Mediocre Trader. And as Robert, a professional law court, would say, he's not in here today, but he goes, "Ahado!" My son would say, we out. Go ahead, Froggy.
Thank you, Miss Harris.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if she mentioned that, like, after the squeeze is over and everything, I'm going to make sure that everybody gets the money indicator so they can use it for their future trades and stuff like that, because at that point, you'll have enough money to be a day trader, and you should definitely have one of the better indicators. I mean, the MACD is very important, but everybody follows the money at some point. They're either paying attention to options, or they're looking at volume. They're looking at buying and selling pressure. Some people look at the vortex indicator, but if you can look at the money and actually see where it's going and tell when it's going up and down and when it's being attacked and when it's, when you can see all that with just cash flow, it's amazing. And plus I've used it during Tesla, so I know it works. Like I used to use RSI. You don't see, or I don't think I even have RSI on my chart anymore. Or maybe I do. I think I keep that on there because everybody knows what it is. But I technically don't even really use the RSI. I look at it for a reference because everybody knows what it is. But you can still see with the money indicator that it pretty much follows the RSI. But when the RSI pegs out at 100, the money indicator keeps going. It doesn't stop. It keeps reading. And I think it's important to be able to see cash. And that's pretty much it. I don't want to say too much about it because, like I said, it's kind of like my baby. I've been using it for at least 10 years, and that's pretty much it. I mean, but like I said, I'm gonna try to hook everybody up with it when the squeeze is over, because if you're gonna have money to trade, you got to have good indicators, and that's pretty much it. If you don't want to trade, I mean, you want to invest in a business or whatever, that's a good thing too. So some people might be tired of the stock market, might run from it when it's over. I wouldn't blame you. I'm kind of fed up. I think in the long run, I'll probably end up grumbling after the whole thing's over, and I'll probably still come back to the market and suck up premium, I think, just because I don't know if I'm just glutton for punishment, but I know the system is built against us, and I still think I can make money with money, so I'll probably be back to play with it.
One question: can that money indicator be used on crypto?
I haven't really tried it. Let me look at it. No, it doesn't. Oh, wait, it does show up on there. So it does show cash flow. I don't know how accurate it is. I haven't got to play with it with crypto. It does kind of look like it's accurate, but very choppy. It does indicate. I mean, it basically told you that Bitcoin's getting smashed right now because the money's just ripping out of it. So, I mean, it looks bad on the 1 minute. The 5 minute still looks bad. I mean, and the money indicator is showing exactly that. So you can actually see the divergence in the stock. You can tell when it should be down and when it shouldn't be. It didn't really pre-indicate, though. That's the only problem. But it's definitely good for showing divergence. Mediocre Trader, you want to go ahead and do your close?
Yeah, sure. I just want to thank everybody for coming and watching the stream. And I really want you guys to, and I know I can be a little outside of what people are used to, right? And the reason is because I'm trying to open up people's minds because I want them to learn to trade, because I don't want to see any of you lose your money. That's the whole reason why I came out. I don't want to see people lose their money. And so, yeah, I support the 1348 because it works. I'm just going to be honest with you. So if you're interested in any of that, I put Froggy's Discord in the chat. I put my Discord in the chat. Follow us on Discord. Get over there so you can meet up with us, and we're going to put something together. We're probably going to do another show with Review Dork probably. And I just want to say I appreciate everybody here. And Ms. Harris, thank you. And all the mods. Jay, you're awesome. Appreciate you guys. And listen, we're here to help you guys. We're here to get you guys the information. I don't care about anything else other than helping out. You guys are like family to me anyways. To me, you guys are like family. And that's just all I'm going to say. But jump on our Discords. Come hang out with us. Learn some stuff. We're happy to have you. Don't forget to beat that like button and that subscribe button, and hop on over to Froggy's channel and do the same. And we'll see you in the next video.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming. I appreciate everybody. Like I said, we're going to be making some adjustments too. I do think getting into the 1348 and talking about it a little bit more should help simplify things. I mean, granted, there's going to be people that still need to learn indicators and stuff like that. We can work on all that too. So, yeah, it would be nice to start calling out some plays as you see them and make a couple like skim plays, whatever, make some extra money and learn in the process. So, just let me know if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff. I mean, I do trades all the time too. And we're going to be talking about that after the show and what we can do to push things to the next levels. So, yeah, thank you guys for coming.
They were asking what is the one's name of his radio. It's called Ape Radio. You'll see it's on Twitter though. You have to be on Twitter. Ape Radio. They're asking in the chat what is the one's name of his radio. So it's Ape Radio. You'll see the one. You'll see Heads. You see Viper. You'll see Georges. You'll see Lady KU. You'll see them. You can click on it and you're in there.
Yeah, Ape Radio on Twitter.
Yeah, definitely stop in and check out Ape Radio. Good group of guys and good information always. But thank you guys for coming. I'll see you guys either later on tonight or tomorrow. So have a good night and peace.
Peace. See you guys.